Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Council. If you'll put your phones on silent or air or off, please. And today, of course, we celebrate the Year of the Tiger. So we've got some wonderful, exciting morning here, and it is Black History Month as well. So welcome everyone to the February 2nd, 2022 meeting of the City Council, which is called to order. The meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2. You may also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, on the Go Vegas app. The City Council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exit at the rear of the chambers. Go out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and go down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a fire official or a marshal for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card, which you may complete and submit to the city clerk up front. Cards are available in the clerk's office at the rear of these chambers, but if you do not submit a card, does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone's present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please come forward and see the city clerk's staff. Please note, if you parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between the council chambers and the security desk you walk through to enter the chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine, but if you do not, please see security personnel when exiting for a validation coupon. Before we proceed with the agenda and the invocation, I would like to take a moment to congratulate Pastor Benny Hawkes and wife Evelyn. Pastor Benny of the Victory Outreach Church of Las Vegas since 1991. They're senior pastors there. Pastor Benny, along with his wife, have been instrumental in lifting up so many members of our community in Las Vegas. And on behalf of the City Council, we thank you for your dedication, as well as taking the time out on many occasions to provide us with an invocation. Congratulations on 30 years of service, and will everyone please rise for the invocation given by Pastor Jacques Hawkness, and please remain standing for the pledge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor Goodman and your cabinet. It's truly a privilege for me to come and pray, for this beautiful city of Las Vegas. And if I could just have everybody please bow their heads and close their eyes. Heavenly Father, we come before you this beautiful day, Lord, and we just want to give you all the glory, the honor, and the praise, God. And right now, God, I lift up to you, God, Mayor Carolyn, my God, and her cabinet, God, and all the proceedings, God, that are going to take place today, Lord. I pray, God, that you give them wisdom, God, direction, insight, revelation, God. Yes, Father, I just pray, God, that you would just take hold of this entire day, God, and everything that transpires here today, God. Yes, Father, that there will be no confusion, God, but that everything will be done in order, God. Yes, Father. And we thank you, God, for what you're going to do, God, and what you've been doing, God. And once again, I thank you, God, for Mayor Carolyn, God, and her cabinet, God, and just have your way here this day, God, for we ask you this in Jesus' name, amen.
Well, good health is returning, so we're coming back on down.
Showtime.
It's your show.
Are you joining us today?
Hold on one second.
6 feet.
Yeah. We all here, huh?
Wow. Well, here we are. It's so nice to see us filling up again. This side is stronger, this side's a little weaker, and that is so weak. Those must be our peeps, right? We love you. We love you all. Anyway, this is the ceremonial portion of our agenda, and we're delighted to be back. Oh, you think I need that? My kids always told me, Mom, they can hear you in New York. So anyway, we are here, back down on the ground with you, and just so thrilled to see you with us today. And for our first ceremonial item, Mayor Pro Tem Anthony, with his red tie, I wonder what you're up to.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, how about a good morning, everyone? All right, very good. It's a great morning. Okay. All right, each month, a member of the Las Vegas City Council has the honor and privilege to recognize a citizen in the city of Las Vegas who has made a positive impact in our community to receive the Citizen of the Month award. Today, it is my pleasure to recognize Janie Lowe as the February 2022 Citizen of the Month for the city of Las Vegas. So come on down here, Janie.
Can I give this to
Oh,
you first?
sure. Well,
there
thank
you go.
you.
Now
All
you look
right.
good.
I'm official. Okay, where was I? Okay, Janie has produced the annual citywide Chinese New Year celebration in Las Vegas since 2012 and has been instrumental in making this annual celebration one of the largest in the country. Janie has held many senior level HR positions in Fortune 500 companies. In 2005, she started the Satay Thai Bistro and Bar Restaurant at Paradise and Flamingo. In 2021, it was named by TripAdvisor as one of the highest rated Asian restaurants in Las Vegas. Okay, there you go. I got a lot more though, so.
No, wait, she needs to move into the city, please. We need one in the city.
Actually, we have a brand new restaurant right over there, and I'll let Janie introduce them. Janie also launched Golden Catalyst, a public relations, event planning, and marketing firm specializing in multicultural segments. Her signature citywide celebration, CNY, or Chinese New Year in the Desert, is celebrating its 11th year in Las Vegas. Forbes magazine named Las Vegas as one of the top 8 places in the United States to celebrate Chinese New Year. All right. And Janie has been instrumental in bringing awareness of the Asian culture of Las Vegas. Janie is very committed to serving our community, donating her time to organizations such as Chefs for Kids, Nevada Small Business Council, AAPI Restaurants, and Las Vegas Chinatown Lions Club. Janie has received many honors and awards in her distinguished career. Janie served as a commissioner of the White House Initiatives for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders under President Donald J. Trump and President Joe Biden from 2019 to 2021, and that's a big deal. The commission worked with all federal agencies to improve health, education, and economic status of AAPI communities. Janie was a major contributor to the Independent Restaurant Coalition during the COVID-19 pandemic. The IRC was formed to save independent restaurants and bars and the 11 million people employed by them. They worked with Congress to pass the SBA's restaurant relief funds. In 2017, she received the Community Achievement Award from the Asian American Group. In 2011, Janie received the Minority Business of the Year for her restaurant presented by the Women's Chamber of Commerce in Nevada. Vegas Inc. named her as one of the women to watch in 2012, so we are watching her today. And one of the things that I started about 10 years ago was having, when we started having the Chinese New Year celebrated here at City Hall, we had the line dancers come down. So I would now like to have the Lohan School of Shaolin line dancers perform for everybody in this chamber. So come on in.
Okay, let's move this, don't we move this away? And we should go sit. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm not
Maybe-
sure what they're doing.
Yeah, I think we need to move that. Jace, don't we need to move that?
All right, give them a nice round of applause. Good job. The Chinese Lunar New Year has officially begun in the city of Las Vegas, and we have actually a packed week coming up, and I'm going to let Janie explain that. But on behalf of the mayor and the entire city council, I want to thank Janie for all you do in our community and all your different roles promoting the Asian American community and the vision you have of creating the largest annual lunar celebration in the United States. I want to present you with this plaque naming you Citizen of the Month for February 22 in the city of Las Vegas. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Janie to make a few comments and introduce some of the folks over there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor, Councilwomen and Councilmen. Happy New Year. I love the city of Las Vegas. Yes. And what I love most about it is putting events in the beautiful city of Las Vegas. So 10 years ago we started, and Mayor Pro Tem Sarvos, he took a chance, and Mayor, you were there as well. And we had a great time. Esther, you were back there 10 years ago, and today you're still here supporting us in this event. And thank you, the city, the staff, Jasmine, Sally, Becky, Marja, all of you, because without you all, navigating the licenses, permits, those are very tricky. So thank you so much for your support. And of course, I want to thank my family who put up with me this whole time as we put on annually, so under the stress. They've been instrumental. My team, Michelle, Rudy, you guys are awesome. And of course, our AAPI, and that stands for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders Community. They're right there. Let's hear it. Thank you so much for your support. And actually, you know what? I just cannot just give one scarf to Mayor Pro Tem. So if I can have my troop come in and present scarves for all our wonderful elected officials as we kick off the Lunar New Year. Yes, you get the second one, Mayor. You have to. Every year's new, fresh, and yes, COVID-free. So stay with me up here too if it's okay. Is it okay? Because you know what? It does take, like I said, it takes a village to put on this event. So stay up here, please, okay? Everybody, stay up there. Okay, stay up here, okay? So without further, of course, my Lohan back there, I want to thank them because, for the lion dancing blessing, we need them every year. So come on in, please, Sifu Raul and Sifu Steven and I call them mine, even though they don't belong to me. They are my Lohan family, so I want them to come up and join us because year after year, they don't get enough kudos. Yes. And thank you to Billy Ann and Sifu Stephen Ball. They had passed since, but they had passed on the legacy to these two beautiful leaders as well as the awesome folks out there. So what's happening? Tomorrow, we're having a official ribbon cutting of Venetian. Friday, we're having our dinner at Taverna Costera, the owner. Jeff, get up here. What are you sitting there? Yes, and he's in the, thank you. So please come support him. Saturday, we have the big parade. We're back at the Fremont East Entertainment District, so it starts at 11. And stay after and support our Fremont Street merchants because every dollar counts, especially right now during the COVID time, right? And then we're going to wrap it up on Sunday at the Rainbow Kitchen. Again, we're supporting AAPI-owned small business owners, and we thank all of you for supporting us. So I want to wish you all a happy Lunar New Year, 新年快乐，年年有余，恭喜发财，谢谢。
All right, if we can hold on, don't go anywhere. So, Jace, can you help me move this podium here, and then we'll get everybody squeezing in and take a picture.
Because we're used to taking pictures. Squeeze in there.
Everybody squeeze in. Good job. All right. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Oh, my. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Take care of everybody. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
We take
Thank you
him,
very
if
much.
you pick him up, I'll ask somebody to take the picture.
Take care. I'll see you this weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go. All right, now I got him. Okay. Got him?
Look over here, right here.
Here, check. One,
more.
two.
Great.
Right here. 1, 2. Okay.
Good boy.
Thank you.
No screaming, nothing.
Yeah, I gotta do the baby picture.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Okay, one more.
Okay, one more. 10 more. 10 more, sorry.
10 more.
One more.
10 more. 20. Got it?
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Take care.
Wow, what a wonderful celebration. We'd like some more restaurants downtown. Come on downtown, right in the heart. We got nice space for you. Okay, for our final ceremonial item today, Councilwoman, 'tis you. Councilwoman Diaz, Ward 3.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Happy Chinese New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. Today, I also have the privilege of recognizing a special group, and I always try to find someone who has a profound impact on the lives of others in our community. And as I was being pressured to find the next awardee, coincidentally, I had just been in attendance to a Women in Need of Change Court graduation. And every time I attend one of those graduations, it's just amazing to hear about the life journeys of the women that are graduating from the program, that are living finally a sober life, a life that is a little bit more stable. Their families are coming back together from the chaos. And so I immediately, after that graduation and sharing with Chief Leung, I decided I wanted to recognize all of our specialty courts, because I know that each one works with a different population in our community, and I think all of them are equally deserving of accolades and recognition. So I hope that you can bear with me, and I'm going to give you a little snippet, but I first want to invite the judges that were able to make it out today to receive these recognitions. So please help me give a warm welcome up to the podium, Chief Judge Brown, Judge Leung, Cynthia Leung, and Judge Kara Campbell. I would also like to take a moment right now and acknowledge Jack Esslinger, our Las Vegas Municipal Court Administrator, and any of our alternative sentencing specialists and contractors or court staff that are here to support our specialty courts. Please stand and be recognized by those in attendance. I know full well that you have to have an awesome, amazing, supportive team in order to make the magic happen in the specialty courts. And come closer to me. Come closer. I swear I don't bite. All right. So, Judge Cynthia Leung presides over Department 1. She operates the WIN Court, which stands for Women in Need of Change, and is supported by her judicial assistant, Beth DeFiore, and coordinator, Stephanie Maplethorpe. This specialty court focuses on women with a history of trauma and addiction. Many of the programs and providers that contribute to the success of the graduates are partners such as We Care, West Care Transitional, the Total Recovery Center, Hope for Prisoners, Reflections House, Unshakable, and the Reset Your Life Camp is just a few of the stakeholders that come together to offer the plethora of services that the women need. Many participants start with trauma-based counseling, and after the detox period, it's followed by a guidance in getting missing documentation such as IDs, social security cards, birth certificates that sometimes they don't have. And they also begin GED classes, parenting classes, and job training. Generally, by graduation, they're living on their own with employment and support network in place, and so it is my honor to recognize not former chief judge, not currently chief judge, but our judge, Cynthia Leung, for all the amazing work she does for women in need of change. Court, and any words you may want to share?
Wow, thank you very much, Councilwoman, Mayor Pro Tem, and all of the councilmen and women here and my colleagues. This was an unexpected surprise, and I appreciate that we're being recognized for this work. I think that sometimes the community is unaware of programs like this that are out there trying to make a difference, trying to help people transform themselves, and that's one life at a time. And the judicial system has been faced with a lot of social issues, and one of our solutions to these problems of recidivism, accountability, substance use disorder, mental health issues, being unhoused, our answer to that is through our specialty court programs. And we could not do this without all of your support, so we are grateful. The court is grateful for that. And all of our community partners, because I think the specialty courts are a great example of that private partnership, the nonprofit partnership with government. So together, I think we do have successful programs, and I'm very humbled to receive this recognition, and I thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Leung. I'm briefly going to talk about, even though Judge Susan Roger, who presides over Department 2, couldn't be here, I just wanted to give you a snapshot of what the Dui Court Driving Under the Influence does. Her court work is supported by her judicial assistant, Elena Roberto, and coordinator Roxy Johnson, and this specialty court focuses on individuals who have a history of driving under the influence of either alcohol or drugs. Individuals are referred to the program through a mandatory alcohol substance abuse evaluation. DUI Court is an 18-month program beginning with 90 days on house arrest and alcohol monitoring. The participants are placed on a no alcohol drug order and no driving without a valid license for the duration of the program, and the individuals attend several AA meetings and one-on-one counseling with random alcohol and drug testing. Now I move on to Judge Kara Campbell, who presides over Department 3. She operates our mental health court and is supported by her judicial assistant, Kathy Banto, and coordinator, Sarah Stern. This specialty court is for individuals afflicted by mental health illness. This program helps with the diagnosis, ongoing mental health counseling, and medication monitoring that sometimes some individuals may need. As substance abuse issues are generally co-occurring with mental health issues, this program also provides substance abuse counseling once mental health stabilization has occurred. The court assists with finding federal and state resources to continue with assistance upon graduation, including housing and income assistance. Most of the charges are dismissed upon graduation. Occasionally, this program receives a referral from Justice Court and District Court, and so it is my privilege and honor to also recognize the work of the Mental Health Court under the care of Judge Kara Campbell.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I will let Judge Leon speak on our behalf so we don't take up more of your time. But yes, it is, a group effort, so we are so grateful, I speak as a court, for all of the opportunities you're granting us with. And again, we couldn't do it without the community support either, so thank you all.
Thank you, Judge Campbell. Next, we have Judge Burt Brown, who presides over Department 4. He operates our Hope Court, which stands for Habitual Offender Prevention and Education, and is supported by Judicial Assistant Teresa Aguilera and Coordinator Craig Larson. This specialty court is the closest thing to what is commonly known as a drug court. Most of the participants have significant substance abuse issues and are classified as high-risk, high-need defendants and have an extensive criminal history that usually relates to substance abuse issues and homelessness. In order to participate in this specialty court program, an individual must have at least 20 arrests or citations with 2 open cases. Typically, the program begins with 3 months of substance abuse treatment, followed by placement in a sober living environment. Generally, by graduation, 18 months after entry into the program, they're living on their own with employment and a support network in place, and most charges are dismissed upon graduation. So again, on behalf of the council and the mayor, thank you, Judge Brown, for all the amazing work you do with our Hope Court.
Thank you, Councilwoman Diaz. I mean, wow. First off, I thought we were just going to say a few things, but getting such a recognition is really appreciated. And as you all know, I think all the council have come to graduations, and they get to hear the stories of how our individuals, our lives are changed. And I think it makes our job special, and that's why we love, I've been doing this for 22 years now, and I love my job, and I love doing this. And so we appreciate all that you do for us, and thank you.
Thank you, Judge Brown. I'm going to quickly touch on the other courts that we couldn't get the rest of the judges to be here for. So Judge Cedric Kearns presides over Department 5, operating our YO Court, which is our Youth Offender Court. This is a specialty court for young men and women under the age of 25. Most of these participants have drug addictions with associated charges, and the court requires that the participant have a family member who is willing to be part of the program with the participant. The family member is required to attend counseling, identify enabling behavior, and attend occasional court appearances and activities. And the one thing that I really like about the YO Court is participants can assist in determining appropriate consequences when rules and different things are being disregarded by the participants. So they're their own jury for their peers, and I think that's amazing. We also have Judge Martin Hastings, who presides Department 6. He oversees the operation of the Veterans Court and is supported by Judicial Assistant Becky Rux and Coordinator Roxy Johnson. This specialty court is available to all veterans. Acceptance into this court is the most automatic of all of our specialty courts. All cases can be referred, and nearly every veteran who wants to participate in the program will be accepted. Each veteran is assessed by the VA to determine what type of resources they'll need, and this court monitors progress and dismisses the charges upon successful completion of the program. And now I would be remiss if I didn't mention Department 25 Hearing Master Shannon Nordstrom, who's in charge of Fresh Start 20 and Fresh Start 5 specialty court programs, and she is supported by Coordinator Craig Larson. This is the most independent specialty court. Fresh Start 20 is in traffic court and typically involves minor misdemeanors such as jaywalking, bike light charges, etc. Fresh Start 5 is in Department 5 and deals with medium-level misdemeanors such as trespassing, park violations, drug paraphernalia charges. This specialty court teams with other government agencies and nonprofits, including Medicaid, to provide resources that are available to the community and that the defendant can access without court supervision. A case plan is put together for each individual to follow within a specified time frame, and at the end of this program, individuals are usually connected with housing and income resources, and their cases are dismissed upon successful completion. So as you have gathered, our specialty courts are very intense. They're intentional, and they require a huge investment of time and emotional commitment from not only each participant, but our judges and their amazing staff at the Muni courts. So informal probation is oftentimes much easier than participating in these programs, but these programs are truly game-changing programs for each person who makes that decision to invest in themselves and really change the trajectory of their lives. So I recognize that drug courts are not a silver bullet solution to substance abuse issues and criminal justice reforms, but they've been found on a national average to reduce recidivism by about 10%. And I'll take that, disrupting that recidivism rate any way we can. I praise and applaud all the efforts that our specialty court judges, hearing masters, and community partners and nonprofits make, and I'm so proud that our city municipality offers these life-changing opportunities to our residents. Judges, I thank you for your leadership, your dedication, and helping each specialty court graduate re-enter society with a fresh start, new tools, and the opportunity for a brighter future.
Through that beautiful accolade that has been given by Councilwoman Diaz. The beauty of the city Muni Court judges are these are initiatives that were created and have been replicated around the country because they are so unusual. And it comes from the heart and soul of every one of these judges that gets committed to the constituencies that they serve and say, we have an idea. So for you young people, very important important. When you have a wonderful idea that helps others, you see the results of these wonderful programs, of how our courts really, with a good heart and a good mind and initiative, make something happen, make a difference. And so we just think our Muni Court judges are untouchable, and we are so grateful. So many times over, we congratulate you, we thank you. We thank you for all the innovative ideas you come up with within the law, but create these wonderful programs that other municipalities and other legal areas replicate. So congratulations, and we will do a picture.
Well, thank you.
Where are we going? Oh, right in front. We can pull it this way. And then we are going to take a 5-minute break because technology has to keep up with us, and then we'll continue with the ceremonies of the morning. Good. Okay, everyone. Time for work. Playtime has concluded. All right, public comment. We're on agenda item number 7. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items, and if anyone submitted a speaker card or who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record. It's your opportunity to address the council, but council will not be able to respond or engage in dialogue. We'll set this first time at a minute. So anyone wishing to address council, please come forward. Okay, I guess nobody wants to talk to us. So we'll move on to agenda item 8. Is the business item for possible action, any items from the 9:30 a.m. session that council, staff, and/or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in advance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. And this is yours, Mayor Pro Tem, please.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, thank you. I have 2 items. Item number 12, real property transfer agreement between the city and the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation for property at 1951 Stella Lake. Staff has asked that item be obeyed till February 16th, 2022. And item number 41, A through D, 210646 Zone 1, 210646 Variance 1, 210646 SUP, 210646 SDR, applicant Ventura Enterprises Investments, owner SVS Properties on 1.46 acres at 700 East Charleston. The applicant has asked that item also be obeyed till February 16th, 2022, and that's my motion.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Please vote and please post. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That motion passes. We'll move on to agenda item 9 for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the January 5th, 2022 regular city meeting. Council meeting, Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve the minutes. Please vote and please post. And we will move on. Thank you. That carries. We'll move on to agenda item 10. Items number 10 through 27, with the exception of item 12, and on the consent agenda, are considered to be routine, recommended for approval by the departments, and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any items council wishes to bring forward? Any items? Nope, I think we're cool. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda, items 10 through 27, except for item 12.
Thank you very much. There's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries as well. Agenda item 28. Administrative discussion for possible action regarding the method which shall be used to fill the municipal court judge vacancy for Department 6 in accordance with the City Charter 1.160. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Jorge Cervantes, City Manager, for the record. Mayor and Council, Judge Martin Harris with our Municipal Court Department 6 has provided notice that he will be retiring effective March 1st of 2022. Judge Hastings served on the municipal bench for over 14 years, and we thank him for his long years of service to our community. With the vacation of the seat, however, the city charter requires that city council, through a majority vote, fill the seat within 30 days of the effective date of the vacancy. And so under NRS and through our city charter, there's 2 options how you do this. The first option would be through a resolution declaring a special election to find somebody to fill the seat. Given that this is an election year and Department 6 is actually one of the positions that was up for election this year, it's not something we're recommending. A special election would cost the city about $250,000, and there's going to be already an election for that seat. So the second option is that council could appoint a person to fill a seat until the next scheduled election, which will take place later this year. Primaries are scheduled for June 14th, with general election scheduled for November 8th, assuming that nobody wins with 50% or more of the votes on the primaries. And so with this agenda item, what we're seeking is direction from council on which of the two options you'd like staff to pursue, to schedule a special election, or if you'd like to have us bring back a list of potential applicants for an appointment. And so that's the direction we're seeking at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Cervantes. Couple of things. I didn't hear clearly, my fault, not paying attention, writing. What's the cost, estimated cost of holding an election?
A special election would cost about $250,000, Mayor.
And that would carry us to November?
It would
Or
actually till
that-
June. The primaries are in June, so we'd have primaries in June. Assuming somebody wins with more than 50%, then that person could be seated at the time. Otherwise, we'd go to the general session, which would be in November.
And what is the end date for Judge Hastings' honor? When does?
March 1st is when he retires.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yes, let's start. Well, you have a recommendation? Is yours also a recommendation or comment?
Well, it's kind of a question to clarify.
Please, fine, and we'll ask. yeah,
So,
yes.
thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank
So is the recommendation of appointing a caretaker to kind of hold the spot?
So the recommendation that staff is making is that instead of a special election, given it's an election year, that
Interesting.
council make an appointment. Now, if you decide to make an appointment, then we need to decide one of two things. Do you want that appointment to be a caretaker, somebody that would fill the position until the election with an agreement that they wouldn't run for office, or is the preference that we appoint somebody but don't put that restriction on them if it's somebody that you all wish to appoint but would have the ability to run? So that would be the second direction we'd be seeking today.
Yeah, well, I would be in favor of a caretaker that isn't running for election because they're not really an incumbent, but they would be an incumbent if we appointed them and they could run. So that's just my opinion on that.
Thank you. And since Mayor Pro Tem has a motion to make, I'm going to go to the right. Any more comments, questions? Yes, please, Councilman Knutson and Councilwoman Fiore.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is just to make it clear, I would be in favor of the appointment process. Mr. Cervantes, would you mind walking us through what the process would look like for soliciting interested applicants and how that would be presented to the council?
Certainly. If the direction from council is to select people for an appointment, we would do a solicitation through our social media and through posting in the paper, get a list of folks that would be interested. We'd bring that forward to council at the next meeting, saying here's all the folks that are interested. I will say that anybody that does apply would still have to meet the criteria of what a judge is, and I'll explain what that criteria is. They've got to devote full time to the duties of the office. They've got to be a duly licensed member in good standings with the State Bar of Nevada. They have to be never been removed from judicial office, and they qualified elector residing within the city. So they have to meet that criteria. We'd put a list together, bring it forward to council, and here's all the folks that applied for the position. At the next council meeting, you all would make a selection.
Can I ask one quick follow-up question?
Yes,
I apologize, but for that review of criteria, is that done out of our Human Resources Department, or do the judges participate in that?
It would probably be done out through HR. The HR in collaboration with our city attorney's office to make sure they meet that criteria.
Okay. And so they'd need to meet that criteria, and then you would present those individuals who meet the criteria for selection by the city council?
It would bring it to the next city council meeting, saying here's all the folks that have an interest, and then look for direction from council who you'd like to appoint.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Mr. Cervantes, on this, if we were to go with a caretaker, and maybe our clerk might be better answering this, but if we were to go to a caretaker, because it's only 3 months, like you pointed out, for the June primary, if the person did want to run for the seat, because this person was a caretaker, she or he would not be considered an incumbent, would she or he?
I'll defer that to our city attorney for that definition.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Good morning, Mayor and Council. Brian Scott, City Attorney. They would be considered an incumbent.
Okay.
If they were the caretaker and you allowed them to run, they would be
Right.
considered the incumbent.
So then their campaign lit would be re-elect.
It would say judge such and
not
such.
elect.
Correct, or
Yeah.
re-elect judge
So
such
that
and
would
such.
be an issue. So I would, and depending upon what my council members think, but I would be in favor of having a caretaker that would not consider running. Just be the caretaker and be done with it. Because then if we don't do that, we're giving someone an advantage.
Another question. There is no way, though, should someone put their heads, their heads in the noose, so to speak, for the position as a caretaker, saying they aren't running. We have no power should they change their mind because
You
the
have no
job has
ability,
been...
you're exactly right, Mayor. You have no ability to force them not to run. But again, it's always considered to be a friendly agreement that if you do act as a caretaker and you agree not to run, that you wouldn't run.
And in your estimation as our city attorney, and it's just an opinion, is there generally thought to be an edge by being temporarily in a position of authority in a hierarchy to have an advantage to...
Mayor, as you know, elections are unpredictable, so I could never even give you an opinion in this climate exactly how that would work out. So it depends on the person's, I guess, their ability to persuade the public that in those 3 or 4 months, they were the ones that were, the person for the job, so.
I know in city council openings that we have in the past decades, appointed people interimly to the position, which in the most parts, they have gone on and succeeded in the election. With an inference that they might not run, but no commitment. And you saying there's no way to enforce that.
There's no way to compel that they couldn't run, and you've done it both ways. The clerk had done a kind of a research project to determine exactly what you've done in certain years. Some years, councils have appointed people and not required that they don't run, and sometimes you've allowed them to run. So it just depends on your pleasure.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other comments, questions, then I'll turn to Mayor Pro Tem. You want to make a motion?
Sure. I will make a motion that we appoint somebody to replace the court, and that in the next 30 days you bring back a list of qualified candidates that we can select from, and that this person that we pick must publicly state that they will not run for that office. That's my motion.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote. And please post.
Thank you for that direction. With that, we'll start the solicitations process. We'll make it clear what the intent of the position is as a caretaker, so folks that do want to apply can apply. And we'll bring
Now,
that
is
list
there any
forward.
possibility you'll have that by the 16th?
We will, Mayor. We'll have that list to bring forward to you for that meeting.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Very well stated. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 29. And that's discussion for possible action on the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program, YNAP, Grant Review Board recommendations to allocate $37,335.36 for 30 youth initiated projects from our general fund, all wards. And Dr. Malich, how are you? Good morning.
Thank you.
And team.
I am well. Dr. Tammy Malich, Director of Youth Development and Social Innovation for the record. It is my pleasure to be with you today with these beautiful young ladies. This is our 22nd year of the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program. That's pretty fabulous. To date, the program has funded 622 projects totaling $567,728 in city investment, with a match of $5,525,008. It's a pretty incredible return on investment. As you can see on the presentation screens, many of the 2020-2021 YNAP recipients created positive impact despite the pandemic and the restrictions, and they were able to complete their projects on time. So compliments to our young people. Our young people this year have some very unique and compassionate projects. I would love to applaud them for being so committed to their community. I had the pleasure of listening to many of their presentations, and it was pretty incredible. And I learned something from every presentation, and I thought I was old and and I was at my maximum of learning, but no, they taught me a lot, so kudos to them. These young people are not only our future leaders, but they're current leaders. They juggle challenges of the current COVID climate, navigating a world where the future is unsure, and they're dealing with work and school and life and supporting each other and still looking to support their community. With that, the item today is recommending 30 neighborhood projects to be funded for a total of $37,335.36. I would like to take a moment to express gratitude for our YNAP Grant Review Board members. They volunteer, their staff from each of your offices, and we could not do this without them. They set not only a good example for our young people, but they serve as role models in that process up on the dais and help them navigate through the process, and it is very valuable. Our YNAP Grant Review Board scored each of the youth programs based on pre-established criteria, as always, and we are so fortunate to have the board members that you loan us for this process. At this time, I will turn it over to the YNAP Board Chair, Lexi Wilder, and Nia Virgil, the YNAP Board Vice Chair, and they will present the rest of the items for your consideration and approval.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and City Council. My name is Lexi Wilder, and you might remember me from being Citizen of the Month back when I was in 5th grade. Today, I am a freshman at the College of Southern Nevada. I hope that doesn't make you feel too old, Mayor Pro Tem Anthony.
Zinged, past tense, done.
I'm not old yet, I'm only 65. Long ways to go.
This is my 4th year serving on the YNAP board. I am honored to be the chair this year and to be able to work with a board so dedicated in making Las Vegas even better. During the past 4 years, I've seen some of the same groups return a little more confident each year in knowing the impact that their projects are making. This year, I am so impressed with the youth and the projects they have presented. They have truly stepped up and will certainly make an impact in our city. We have all learned over the past year how important the word community means to everyone. It's a great feeling to know that our youth understands the importance of community and they are willing to take a step of action to begin their amazing projects here in Las Vegas. I'm extremely proud to submit their names to you today for approval for their projects, and I want to express my sincere appreciation for being involved in such a great program like the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program.
Well done.
Good morning, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Nia Virgil, and I am a senior at Nevada State High School. This is my first year serving on the YNAP Grant Review Board. I have applied and received the YNAP grant 2 times before, and I'm honored to be on the other side this time. This year, I have the pleasure to serve as Vice Chair. I would like to thank you for such an amazing opportunity to serve on the YNAP board. I have learned and gained so much experience this year and hope to use this experience when I begin my college career.
Nia and I would like to recognize this year's 16 board members, 9 of whom are adults who mentored and guided our 7 youth members, and thank them for volunteering in their time to this year's Grant Review Board process. If any of our board members were able to attend today, please stand when we call your name so that you can be recognized. Our adult board members are Andrew Sierra, Arlene Alvarez, Arnold Parker, Becky Skousen, Brianna Ramirez, Chance Bonaventura, Harry Williams, Carl Cataretta, and Maria Fajardo.
Our youth members are Lexi Wilder, our chair, myself, Nia Virgil, Alexandra Rodriguez, Alyssa Gorday, Daniel Thompson, Dre Boyd Weatherly, Mallory Priest, and Melanie McNair.
This year, the YNAP Grant Review Board is recommending 30 projects for a total of $37,335.36 in grant funding. Together, these projects will provide the city with a match of over $361,378 in volunteer hours, in-kind donations, and/or financial contribution.
19 of these projects focus on community service, such as collecting supplies for the less fortunate and hosting community events. And 11 youth-initiated projects support community education through peer mentoring, increasing youth awareness of community health and safety issues, and through conferences and workshops. We would like to recognize each project. If your group is attending, please stand when we read your project name so that you can be recognized.
In Ward 1, Angelic Leaders Project, $1,113.10. Code Switch, Restorative Justice for Girls of Color, the Overachievers Fund, $1,250. Kellen Cares, Cookin' with Kellen, $1,200. Pajama Party, Cameron's Cotton Candy for a Cause, $1,250. Reese's Pieces, Peyton's Positivity Project, $1,250.
In Ward 2, Alliance for Academic Quiz Bowl, Coding Workshop, and Tech Science Quiz Bowl, $1,250. Books and Ballet, $1,250. Coping Kids, Coping Skills for Kids, $1,250. Project Dot, YNAB Grant Project Dot, $1,700.
In Ward 3, CC Rano Elementary School, One World, One Night, $1,250. Jobs for Nevada's Graduate, Operation Siblings, $1,250. Kenny Gwynn, Centers for Policy Priorities, Bags of Hope, $1,250. Las Vegas Light of the World Church, Care Package for Elders, $1,058. LLDM Youth Volunteer, the Light of the World Youth Volunteers, $1,022.41. Unity's Youth Warrior, Unite Community Explosion, $1,250.
In Ward 4, the Super Friends Super Bowlers, $1,250. In Ward 5, Akateens Youth Enrichment Group, Akateens Serving Our Community, $1,250. Batteries included Next Generation Gibson, Leadership Tennis Club, $1,250. Blight Esports, High School Esports Food Drive, $1,250.
Cheyenne High School, Batteries included, / Gems, Teddy Bears and Tees, $1,250. Essential Beauties, $1,250. Heroes and Hearts, The Blessing Project, $1,250.
Kids That Recycle, $1,250. LVMPD Foundation, Bolden Lions Youth Soccer Mentoring Program, $1,250. Nehemiah Ministries, Christian Church, College-Aged Foster Youth, $1,250.
also in Ward 5.
Stars Community Develop Corporation, Community Fun Day and Basic Needs Giveaway, $1,250. Sugar Mentoring Program, Starburst Step/Dance Cheer Camp, $1,250. Wild and Out Wednesdays, Youth Advisory Council, Artistically Motivote, $1,250.
In Ward 6, K. Carl Student Council, K. Carl Gratitude Gifts, $1,245. More Sweets, Cupcakes of Joy, $1,246.85. Lexi and I want to give a big thank you to each of the youth groups who presented. I commend them on their courage to stand before such a large board of individuals to share their ideas with us. They did a wonderful job, and their projects were not only creative, but also each serve an important community need.
On behalf of the YNAP Grant Review Board, we would like to thank the mayor and council members for your continued support of YNAP, and we would like to thank all of the youth for supporting adults who are giving back to the community. I would also like to thank the Department of Youth Development and Social Innovation and the director, Dr. Tammy Malich, for believing in the youth of their communities. I would also like to thank Candace Boring for her leadership and guidance through the YNAP process and the entire team. And the entire team of staff that make YNAP such a success.
Beautiful.
And with that, we hand it back over to you.
Thank you. Job well done, and something very dear to all of our hearts, because we just love what you do and the enthusiasm. And we learn every day. We do. That's what's great about life. You can learn something every day if you're open. So wonderful. And thank you, and thank the entire staff and your committees, everything. It worked out beautifully. Why 36 cents, though? Is that tax? Thank you. Good luck, everybody. Thank you so much for making us so proud. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we are really knowledgeable about it and appreciate it.
Mayor, we need to go ahead and do the motion and vote, please.
Okay, we will accept Mayor Pro Tem to accept
Thank
the
you, Mayor.
report.
I'll make a motion to accept the report by the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program grant and all their recommendations to allocate $37,335.36 to 30 youth initiative projects.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote, and please post. Wonderful. Great. See, you don't trust us. You're smart enough to wait through, because if our council hadn't reminded us to do that, it wouldn't have passed, and there you are. So, well done down there. We'll keep them on another year or so. Okay. We are on to agenda item 30, recommending committee bills eligible for adoption at this meeting, bill number 2022-1. Councilman Anthony, would you like the bills read?
Yes.
Bill number 2022-1, an ordinance to amend various provisions of LVMC Title VII to increase from 3 to 4 the number of dogs, cats, ferrets, or rabbits that can be kept at a particular place or residence without a specific permit to do so, and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda item 30. Please vote. Making a lot of people happy. And please post. You're up to 4, everybody. Wonderful. Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 31. New bills. Item number 31, bill number 2022-3 will be heard at recommending meeting on Monday, Valentine's Day, 2022. City Attorney, would you please read the new bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 2022-3, an ordinance to amend various sections of LVMC Chapter 11.68 to update provisions governing street performers and other activities within the pedestrian mall and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you very much. New Bill 2022-3 is assigned to the February 14th, 2022 recommending committee members, Councilman Anthony and Knudsen, Councilwoman Fiore, if any so designated, are unable to attend. The city clerk will coordinate finding substitutes as necessary at my direction, please. Thank you. And we will now move on to... No, we won't. Isn't this in reference to a marijuana? Number 32. Therefore, I'm sorry, as I have a son who is in the business. Isn't this marijuana related? Mayor Pro Tem, would you care to read this into? Thank you. Yeah, please.
Okay. All right, items number 32 through 39 may be considered in one motion, one vote, and are considered routine, non-public, and public hearing items with no condition changes. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or a member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request that they have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. Note that the record should reflect the mayor's abstention on item number 32. This item pertains to a marijuana-related business, and one of her sons is involved in that industry. She'll be voting on the remainder of the items. Item number 32, 210669 EOT1, applicant owner, Main Street Investments, LLC, on a land use entitlement project, request for the first extension of time of an approved special use permit for a proposed 3,720 square foot marijuana dispensary use at 1319 South Main Street. This is commercial industrial in Councilwoman Diaz's ward. Item number 33, 210756 EOT1, applicant DTP Management, owner 899 Fremont, on the land use entitlement project, request for the 11th extension of time for a non-conforming liquor establishment use at 899 Fremont Street and 115 South 8th Street. This is TF Main Street zoning, and this is in Councilwoman Diaz's ward. Item number 34, 21077 RQR1, applicant Clear Channel owner, outdoor owner Pool Sanford, on a land use entitlement project, request for a required review and approved special use permit for a 40-foot tall 14 by 48 foot off-premise sign at 3901 North Rancho. This is limited commercial in Councilman Creer's ward. Item 35, 210778 RQR1, applicant Clear Channel Outdoor, owner Claremont Hotel, on a land use entitlement project, request for a required review of an approved special use permit for an existing 55-foot tall, 26-foot by 24-foot off-premise sign at 2601 Westwood Drive. This is zoned industrial in Councilman Knudsen's ward. Item number 36, 210779 RQR1, applicant Clear Channel Outdoor, owner Weens Holding, on a land use entitlement project, request for a required review of an approved special use permit for an existing 55-foot tall, 14-foot by 48-foot off-premise sign at 2750 North Decatur. This is general commercial in Councilman Creer's ward. Item 37 is 210780 RQR1, applicant Clear Channel Outdoor, owner Lazaro Real Estate, on a land use entitlement project, request for a required review and approved special use permit for an existing 40-foot tall, 14-foot by 48 off-premise sign at 1701 South Decatur. This is in limited commercial zoning, Councilman Knudsen's ward. Item 38, 210781 RQR1, applicant Clear Channel Outdoor, owner Milford Mark and Laura Lynn Trust, on a land use entitlement project, request for a required review and approved special use permit for an existing 40-foot tall, 14-foot by 48-foot off-premise sign at 1615 North Decatur. This is limited commercial zoning in Councilman Creer's ward. Item number 39, 210782 RQR1, applicant is Clear Channel Outdoor, owner Sun Investments, on a land use entitlement project, request for a required review and approved variance, which allowed an existing 55-foot tall, non-conforming off-premise sign to be raised to a height of 85 feet, which is 60 feet above the freeway grade, where 30 feet above the elevated grade is the maximum height allowed, and allow the sign to be a distance of 520 feet from the existing off-premise sign and 30 feet from our designated zoning district, where 750 feet and 300 feet are the minimum distance separations required at 616 H Street. This is in T4 zoning. Councilman Creer. Staff recommends approval on all items. Items number 33 through 39 are public hearings, which I now declare open. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on any of these items, items 33 through 39? All right, seeing none. Okay, I'll close the public hearing, and I will open up for any questions or comments from the City Council.
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you, sir. I own an advertising billboard company, and on items 34 through 39, just want to disclose that there is no conflict of interest. I have no competition with them, so I will be voting. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, then I will go ahead and make the motion to approve the one motion, one vote agenda items. Go ahead and vote. And post. Motion carries. Thank you. I'll turn this back over to the mayor.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, we will move on then to agenda item, where are we? 40. Planning discussion. Item number 40, 210599, the following land use entitlement project request, 17.85 acres south side of Owens Avenue, approximately 630 feet west of Lamb Boulevard. Number 40A, 210599, ZON1, from RE Residence Estates to RPD9 Residential Plan Community, 9 units per acre to RTH Single Family Attached. Number 40B, 210599 VAR1, to allow stub street terminations where cul-de-sacs or hammerheads are required. Number 40C, 210599 TMP1, Lamb and Owens, for a 222-lot single-family attached residential subdivision. The applicant owner is WLCL Lending LLC. Planning Commission recommends approval. Staff recommends approval on 21-0599 ZON1 and denial on 21-0599 VAR1 and TMP1. These are in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz. Our public hearings, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? Please come forward and state your name for us and give us your input, please.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Lucy Stewart, 1930 Village Center Circle.
Brian Myers, 6030 South Jones.
And we appreciate staff's recommendation for approval of the zone change. And I think from the staff report, it's pretty clear that this design, for the most part, I think is acceptable for staff, with the exception of there's a stub street here, a stub street, well, we can get on the overhead, I guess.
Wait, if you can, so to read point, there you are.
Sure. There's a stub street in the northwest corner of the site, and in the middle of the site is another stub street, and then down at this location, there was a stub street that had like 10 lots on it. So we came back and we redid it and put in a knuckle. To adjust some of the things, we took the parking out of this location, put over here, and also in this location. So parking was removed from here and sort of dispersed a little bit better, which I think in your staff report, they indicate that that's probably a better location for the parking anyway. So we do ask approval of this revised plan. This project, this stub street up here really has two. I think this lot could be accessed from the street if there were like a knuckle. So there's really 2 lots there and 2 lots at this location. I think the concern always is the fire department being able to get in, and Brian did talk to the fire department, said as long as it's less than 150 feet, they're okay with it. So with that, we respectfully request approval of this revised, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Wonderful, thank you. And Good morning.
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record, and if you're wondering why I'm standing up here, Jace was very comfortable in his seat over there, and he thought it would be best if I did it from up here. He refused to give it up. No, I'm kidding, Mayor. We only had one item, so that's why I'm doing it from up here. Mayor, the rezoning of the subject site is consistent with the site's MLA, medium-low attached density residential land use designation, and previous rezoning applications for the site, which were previously supported by staff. Therefore, staff's recommending approval of the rezoning. In order to accommodate the design of the proposed 222-lot single-family attached development, several variances of the subdivision requirements are requested. No evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented to justify these requests, and as a result, staff recommends denial of the variance and the associated tentative map. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. These are public hearing items, so is there anyone who wishes to be heard on agenda item 40 and 40A, B, and C? I'll close public hearing. Any questions, comment from staff before council? Nope. All right, Councilwoman Diaz, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And so for me, the biggest concern was safety, and when bigger trucks have to be deployed to get in there and offer assistance and help, and it was helpful for me to learn that the fire department was okay with the stub streets as long as they were less than 150 feet. Can you articulate the remaining stub streets in these plans? How long are they?
They're roughly 65 to 70 feet
Okay.
remaining.
And then I appreciate also you stepping up and including that extra hammerhead, because that one was probably in excess of 150 feet. So
that is correct.
Thank you for making those modifications to the plan. So with that, I'm excited that we're going to get new housing options in the east side, most east side of my ward. And with that, I'm going to move to approve all agenda items for 40, 40A, B, and C.
And while we're going to head to vote on this, what's your timeline for starting and finishing?
We are currently under design right now, so I would figure getting through the Las Vegas Valley Water District and the City of Las Vegas will take approximately 6 to 9 months. So at that stage,
wow,
we should be breaking ground late this year.
Okay. Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote and please post. Unanimous.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Floyd, too. Okay, agenda item 41's been made to the 16th of February, so we will move on to agenda item 42, which are reports and presentations. Report by Kevin McOsker, Building Official Director, Department of Building and Safety, regarding current operations, accomplishments, future projects of the department, reference to all wards. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor Goodman. Good morning, City Council. Thank you for the opportunity today to talk about my passion and my love as the built environment and the Department of Building and Safety. I have to say that Building and Safety is alphabetically the first department in the City of Las Vegas, and in my humble opinion, it's also the best department in the City of Las Vegas.
And you are?
Oh, I'm sorry. For the record, Kevin McOsker.
No, after that.
After that, yes.
Otherwise, you don't.
I made my only mistake, and I made it early. Kevin McOsker, Building Official, Director of the Department of Building Safety. My Deputy Director, Michael Cunningham, is with me to help me present today.
Morning.
So I'm fortunate enough to work with 75 passionate professionals dedicated to the built environment. The core purpose of the city is build community to make life better. And that's what we do. We live that every single day. We facilitate permits and inspections to enhance the life in the built environment for our citizens and our business owners. So literally, we live to build community to make life better. We also are the silent defenders of public safety. It's on our website. That's what we call ourselves. The reason I say that is because we all know public safety as fire prevention and fire officials and fire suppression, our law enforcement officers, our marshals, and emergency medical technicians. In our worst moments of life, they're there to help us and protect us, and we're thankful for their service and their heroes. But who do you thank when you go home at night and you sleep and nothing happens? Or you go to work and nothing happens? The water's running and the air conditioning's pumping and your cell phone's charging and all that. Well, that's the silent defenders of public safety. Those are the folks in the building department, but also fire prevention, our design professionals, and our contracting community, who all come together to bring buildings and public infrastructure into a safe, sustainable, and code-compliant solution. The building department and building and safety department itself is 3 separate work groups and under 3 separate funding sources. So we have the sewer billing folks, they're under the Sewer Billing Enterprise Fund. We have the off-site inspection and testing team under a general fund source, and our building permits and inspections group is under the Building Enterprise Fund. And with that, I'll let Mr. Cunningham talk a little bit about some of our departments.
All right, good morning, Mayor, City Council. For the record, Michael Cunningham, I'm the Deputy Director for the Building and Safety Department, and like Kevin mentioned, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of our lines of business. The first one's going to be our sewer billing group. So this is a small but mighty group. There's 3 of them. They're in charge of doing all the ERU reviews during our plan review process to ensure that we collect the correct sewer connection fees. They do post construction inspections to make sure that the sewer billing is set up correctly so that bills are sent out correctly. They do demo inspections to make sure that developers and contractors get the future credits that they need for their projects. Last year, in the calendar year 21, they did collect over $13 million in sewer connection fees for the Sewer Enterprise Fund. And a theme you're going to hear about a lot of the slides I'm going to talk about is collaboration. We collaborate with a lot of departments, a lot of external departments, a lot of internal departments. They do as well, so they have a lot of coordination with finance, with obviously our building side and our inspection side. They coordinate directly with business owners when they have to go out and do their investigations. So they coordinate with a lot of departments. They confirm fixtures prior to the final inspection as well. And then I was going to move on to our offsite inspections and testing group. So this is our group that they oversee all the private development in the public right-of-way. This does include private streets and HOA communities because we have to inspect those to public standards when they're first built. And we also do all the plan review. So these are, as I mentioned, associated with all the private projects. And we also plan review and inspect all the utility infrastructure in the right-of-way. So Cox Communication and NV Energy and Southwest Gas and the Water District, all the small cell sites that you see going up, all those run through this division for plan review and inspections. On the plan review side, we confirm it meets the design requirements for the valley. We have a lot of other departments I'll talk about later that help us do that, but regional standards and Clark County standards. On the construction site, we make sure that it meets the specifications for installation. And then we also test, because the majority of the infrastructure that we inspect on the offsite side is turned over to the city for future maintenance. We need to ensure it's a competent roadway section, competent utility, so that there's not an undue liability to the city for any maintenance cost. And so we have a testing lab that also tests type 2. We test asphalt. We do various testing throughout the development project to ensure compliance. On the next slide, these are some of those internal departments and external departments I talked about for collaboration. So internally, we have our division, which is going to be land development. We also have flood control and sewer planning. We have the planning department that reviews, fire prevention, and traffic engineering. All those departments have reviews within our building permit process. And then externally, we coordinate and we require approvals from the Water District, NV Energy, Cox Communications, CenturyLink, and Southwest Gas. Just a couple stats for you. Last year in calendar year 21, we reviewed 12 commercial subdivisions, 235 residential subdivisions, 1,263 utility projects, and then 679 minor permits. Those are typically maintenance permits for the utility companies, and then if an owner needs just a sewer lateral or something minor, we do that as a minor permit as well. We did just over 27,000 inspections, and we performed 98% of those on time the day they're requested. As you can see with the comparison to 2020, COVID did not really slow down too much in the construction industry. It was deemed essential, and as you can tell from some of the graphs, it was essential, and it kept moving forward. And with that, I will turn it back over to Kevin to talk about the other functions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So I was inspired by, I believe Seth did a presentation a few months ago, and one of his slides he showed a historical zoning code adoption. So I dug through our building department files and found an old ordinance from April 6th of 1931, signed by Mayor J.F. Hess, I believe is his name. He signed the first building code adoption in the city of Las Vegas, the 1930 Uniform Building Code. Wow. So that's some history. There's actually a really nicely preserved ordinance of that code adoption. The code was published by an entity called the Pacific Coast Building Officials Conference International, which interestingly enough became the International Conference of Building Officials, which then merged with 2 other model code organizations in 2000 to become the International Code Council. So the codes that we adopt have roots in our first building code that we adopted. So when people ask me, what does a building department do? So for those who don't know, we do 5 main things. We process permit applications. If you come to the building department and need a permit, you make an application. We determine what path that application goes down. Is it simple enough where we can just provide you the permit and start the construction? Is there some requirements to sign off to make sure that things are being done properly? Or do we do a full plan review? So that's the application process. We also do plan review. So these big projects that we look at, we want to make sure that we're catching the big picture items. I say it's a lot easier to erase a line on a piece of paper than it is to demo a building that you built that was not in the right place or not code compliant. So it's kind of the big picture look to make sure the contractor is going down the right road, the design professional, it meets codes and standards, and we can feel confident in permitting the project and allowing them to start the construction process. We also try to make it a little bit easier for our contracting and inspector communities so that those things go well in the field. We also issue building permits. This is probably what we're probably best known for, issuing the building permits. That's the authorization for construction. And the other thing that we're very known for doing is performing building inspections. We go out at various stages during the construction process and ensure the work is meeting the minimum requirements of the code, the plans that they'd submitted. It's foundations, it's framing, it's rough trades, it's final inspections, and generally we check at various points to make sure things are going well. And at the end of that project, we authorize occupancy through the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. So those are the 5 general things that we do. There's different processes that go through that, but it's all pretty consistent whether you're at the City of Las Vegas or any building department uses a very similar model. I have the entire intent of the building code listed there for you. You can read it all, but I just want to point out that the building code's purpose and intent is to provide the minimum requirements to provide a reasonable level of safety. It's commonly thought of that we're pretty tough and the building code's a tough standard, but it's really the minimum code, it's the minimum standard, and it's to address hazards in the built environment and also natural hazards, earthquakes, wind, and things of that nature, weather. But what's important also to recognize is that part of our intent in our codes is to provide protection to our emergency responders and emergency operations.
All right, and so kind of like I talked earlier, I talked about the off-site inspections division. This one I'll talk about our building permit side. Again, with that theme of collaboration, we have many departments that review within our building permit process as well. So we're going to have our building reviews, which is going to be all the trade disciplines, architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and structural. And then we have land development, which is our off-site section, making sure that all public works conditions are met before we issue our building permits. We have the planning department again. We have historic planning if it's in a historic neighborhood. We have fire prevention, and we have traffic engineering. We play the major part because it is our permit. It starts with us and kind of ends with us, like Kevin mentioned with the C of O. But we bring in all those other departments to make sure that what we're issuing is a code compliant for all divisions within the City of Las Vegas. Here's just a couple of graphics on some of the active projects that have been issued or constructed within the recent years. So you got Circa on there. You see the series of our code books that we do plan review to. Some residential construction. Kevin will talk about a little bit later, but technology, as we've moved to more technology, we've kind of changed and adapted some of our electronic stuff for our employees as well. Some more stats for you. So from 20 to 21, we have increased a little bit over 10% on our building permit issuance. As you can see here, we did over 105,000 inspections, and we performed 96% of those on the day they were requested. We did just over 21,000 plan reviews, and again, kind of with that theme, we didn't slow down much with the pandemic. And I think Kevin's going to go over a little bit more of the graphs.
So we also went back and kind of gave you a historical perspective on our building permits. So we went back 6 years to look at what's the history of a building permit issuance. And you can see over time we've seen increased growth and development in the city of Las Vegas. And you've been very supportive of our department in funding and code adoption and what have you. But as you can see how the building permits have increased over time with a slight drop in 2020, which was not unexpected. It was a tough year in the pandemic year of 2020, but again, as Mike said, we didn't slow down much. I mean, it was a pretty busy year. We kept moving forward. Matter of fact, the home builders issued more building permits in 2020 than they did in were issued more building permits in 2020 than they did in 2019, and that's even considering they basically had 6 weeks off. So it was pretty incredible. And the other thing that we like to measure, just to kind of get an idea of the complexity of the work, because the permits are one component, but the complexity of those permits is another issue. So we measure construction value as determining how complex a project is, or how complex the bulk of all of our work is. So you can see we had a pretty stagnant between 2016 and 2018, and a huge jump in 2019 where our construction value jumped to almost over $1.6 billion. That was the year we permitted Circa and some of the projects out at the Symphony Park. So we had a really big year, and again, a little dip in 2020, and in 2021 we almost hit $2 billion of construction value. So it's a interesting stat to see the complexity kind of shoot up with the permit numbers just kind of with a gradual increase.
What are some of the itemizations of that construction valuation? I mean, what is the component of that? What are you measuring?
So we're measuring the value of the building from a construction perspective. So we have charts that are published and the contract values provided by the contractor to measure how much that building costs. One of the components
for instance, like wood rather than steel.
So
steel would be, if that was part of the framing, would be a higher valuation than wood?
It's based on loosely, yes. The answer to that question is a little bit more complicated than wood is cheaper than steel, and steel is less expensive than concrete. But it really goes to the type of construction that's indicated in our construction codes. Non-combustible, combustible construction, heavy structural. But it's all related to that component. Okay. By definition, it's the cost to replace the building in kind.
And so, but it is basically material.
It's materials and labor, yes.
Labor too?
Yeah.
So inflation makes a difference there.
Inflation will have a factor in this, yes, ma'am.
So as you project into '22?
We would anticipate that there'd be a higher valuation next year.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, we're going to move on to our accomplishments.
Wow.
And so we implemented an electronic plan review 6 months before the pandemic, which we were really lucky to do that because it really made us a very mobile and flexible entity in the permitting and permitting process. We were also the first jurisdiction to integrate our multiple platforms. So we took our web portal, integrated it with our permitting database, and integrated that with our e-plan platform and our inspections module. So all that stuff communicates together. It's a fabulous system. We're one of the first in the country to do that. I also want to mention, we didn't do that alone. Obviously, our IT department was very helpful in getting that. Project Eddie was a big component of this element. Rick Vermani was hugely helpful, along with my process review coordinator sitting in the back there, Yolanda Palamo, who's our tech guru. But I also want to give a shout out to Jorge Cervantes. I came to the city and asked to go with an all-in approach, and they agreed, and thank you for that support, Mr. Cervantes, because it was great that we were all in 6 months before, and we were running when the pandemic hit. We instituted a remote virtual inspection process shortly after the pandemic started. So this is contractors and homeowners using their cell phone or their tablet to FaceTime or Skype our inspectors to do the inspection, so we can we were not able to go into people's houses or do certain inspections, and so we put that process in place. So that's one of the, and we are still maintaining that process today. We have a customer dashboard where customers can access the building department 24/7, 365. So if your permit got ready at late on Thursday afternoon, you didn't have to wait till Monday like you used to have to do back at the old DSC. You can go online and get your permit issued on Friday. Or if you want to make a permit application on a weekend or a holiday. Matter of fact, we actually had someone apply for a permit on Christmas Day. So it's very, very flexible for our community. We've updated our mobile inspection platform so all of our inspectors are resulting in their inspections on the job site as they finish them. We have online inspection scheduling, online payments, and online check status, so anyone who's a part of the project can check the status of their permit and their inspection at any time. We also text message the contractors the result of the inspection at the completion of that inspection and when the result is posted.
So some of the other accomplishments, and like I talked about earlier with the collaboration theme, with Kevin's direction and support, we try to stay as involved with the construction industry as we can. So on a few other slides, you'll see some of the boards that we're on. But we try to attend either their monthly meetings, or we sit on some of their code committees, or we sit on their boards. This list is just a few of them. We have heavy involvement with some of them. The other ones, we just go to their meetings and we give them update, and we solicit feedback from them to make sure that if there's a process change we need to do, if there's something we're doing that's messing up in the field or plan review, that we hear that feedback from them, and then we take it back to our teams and we try to figure out a way we can address it and improve. So some of the local involvement, so Rick O'Brien, he's one of our inspection supervisor. He sits on Code Making Panel 5. He has for the last few years. That's the code making panel that works on grounding and bonding for the National Electrical Code. So he's on that committee to help determine what code changes need to be made at a national level. He was the chair of the Snowbow Electrical Code Committee, or he still is the chair of the Snowbow Electrical Code Committee, and he was a board member on the Southern Nevada chapter of the International Association of Electrical Inspectors. There's a lot of acronyms. I'm going to try to sound them all out. And he was the president in 2020. We also have Brad Elliott. He's one of our combination plans examiners. He was the chair of the Southern Nevada chapter of the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials from 19 to 20. And he is also on the Nevada Board of Plumbing Examiners currently, which is the examination process that allows a journeyman plumber to get their certification. And we have Michael Giordano. He's our other inspection supervisor. He also sits on that Nevada Board of Plumbing Examiners group, and he is also an exam proctor for the local 525 pipe fitter union.
And Michael Cunningham, our deputy director, is a past board member of the local chapter of the American Public Works Association and currently their treasurer. He's also was just recently installed as the Southern Nevada chapter of the International Code Council as our president. In addition,
congratulations.
In addition, he's going to oversee the EduCode program, which is a national and international code education program for code officials, for contractors, for engineers and architects and code enforcement officers, anyone in the built environment. And it's one of the biggest settings that we have for education. It's coming up later this month, at the end of the month. And Mr. Cunningham was the 2021 Government Person of the Year for the Southern Nevada International Code Council.
Thank you.
Did you give him a week off or something?
No, he's got to work even more.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, Mr. Cunningham is sitting on the Residential Consensus Committee for the International Energy Conservation Code, which is for the 24 version of the code, and he's working with those folks.
All right, and Kevin, his list is a little bit longer than mine. He's got a few more years under his belt, but so he's been on several technical code committees. So on the international level, so on the large level, he's been on the Building Code General Committee in 2018. He's on the Residential Committee for both the 2021 code and the 2024 code. He's on the Residential Seismic Assessment and Retrofit Standards Committee currently, which goes over new standards and methods to retrofit existing buildings to address seismic hazards. He was our Region 1 past president in 2019, which it covers California, Hawaii, and Nevada. He is our past SNIC past treasurer. He held that position for 4 years, probably a little bit longer than he wanted to, but he stuck with them and helped them out. And then he's been on several other code committees under the building officials group, and he currently is the building official for the city.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. One of my crowning achievements in working for y'all is our ISO rating that we achieved about a year ago. ISO is the Insurance Services Organization. They rate government services on the quality and effectiveness of their service, and they're a rating organization for the insurance industry. So you've probably seen ISO ratings on fire trucks, ISO Class 1. You see those on fire trucks. They do the same thing for building departments. It's called a Building Code Effectiveness Grading Schedule. They evaluate our code adoption. They evaluate our enforcement procedures, our certifications, our education, our qualification, how much time and effort and money we expend on training our staff, and how much our workload is. And keep in mind, these ratings go directly back to our citizens and affect how their homeowners insurance or their building insurance costs. So the better we do as a building department, the cheaper our insurance should be for our citizens. The Building Code Effectiveness Grading Schedule goes from 1 to 10, 1 being exemplary and 2 being excellent. In 2012, we received a grade of 4 for residential and 3 for commercial. And in 2020, we received 2s for both residential and commercial, which is a significant upgrade. I should put this in context because in 2019 report from ISO, they did 14,000 jurisdictions that they had rated. Only 4 jurisdictions in the country were rated a 1. One of those is Beverly Hills, California. So I think we're nipping at the heels of some pretty good company. So a vast improvement, and we have some work to do to catch the Beverly Hills Building Department. I'll talk a little bit about the future plans and some of the things the future holds for building departments and code officials and elected officials as we move forward. Real quick on one end, here locally, we were going to be coming to you later for a code adoption of the building and fire codes to maintain the high-rise exemption that we took a few years ago in the 18 code adoption. The state legislature added a new code that we need to adopt. It's called the Wildland Urban Interface Code. So we'll do that later this year. We have to do that by August, so we'll probably see you sometime early to midsummer to get that done. There's a new product in the building code that was introduced in the 21. It's called tall wood buildings. Tall wood buildings are not your traditional stick frame buildings. They're cross-laminated timber buildings, and you see the photograph or the picture of what's a cross-laminated timber, but it's like 2x10s in alternating orientation, and they make up floors and walls and roof systems. They have great structural qualities. They have really good fire protection qualities, especially when they're encapsulated in a fire protection membrane. But depending on whether they're protected or unprotected or partially protected, we have different heights and areas that are allowed by the code. So it's an interesting new product that we'll see in the building codes and new buildings coming up. They're beautiful when they're unprotected and the exposed wood is available to see as part of the architecture feature of the building.
And are those natural wood or are they artificial?
Oh, it's natural wood. Yes, ma'am. It's natural wood. It's natural graded lumber from a graded lumber organization, and they just take what they do is they take the nominal dimensional lumber, lay it in a flat plane. They apply an adhesive. They put the nominal lumber in the opposite orientation. Okay. Put some adhesive. Do a third ply, and then they press it. They put it under pressure, and it creates this structural and building component.
But with the cost of wood having escalated so incredibly over the past couple of years, and then obviously everybody trying to save the natural environment, what does it do to the industry?
So one of the things that's interesting about that is there's a lot of cutting of forest that needs to be maintained. So part of the wood that they'll be using is cut forest that they need to maintain. So part of this is helpful to the environment, and it's energy efficient. It is carbon neutral, I think is the term they use. So it's a really interesting product that was just introduced in the code recently, and it should be coming to a jurisdiction near you soon. Hopefully. I'd really love to see a building come in, so it'd be a fun project to work on.
Is there an advantage? Do we have a special financial advantage for buildings that are going to use that type of product?
I'm not aware of any, not at this time, that I'm aware of. One of the other things that you've seen in buildings, architects and building owners have been using the roof as an occupied part of the structure. Great venues, especially in downtown Las Vegas, up on the roof. Lounges, bars, assembly spaces, and what have you. It got introduced in the 2018 code to have some regulation understanding that we're all doing it fairly consistently, because prior to 2018 there was soup to nuts regulation on what an occupied roof looked like. It started out that you had to be the same occupancy as the floor below. We changed that in 21 and clarified that it's not part of the building heights and stories. But then we further clarified in 24, in the 24 code, that it's part of the high-rise definition. We also have products that are getting introduced in the code called building integrated photovoltaic systems. So in this example, it's a roof shingle that's a small photovoltaic panel. So instead of building a traditional roof and putting the panels on top, the actual photovoltaic panels are embedded in the roof shingles. So that's a product that got introduced in the code recently, and we'll see that move towards walls and windows and other building components as we move forward in more energy efficient buildings. Another area of great change in codes is energy storage systems. So obviously there's some level of hazard and risk associated with both the electrical and the battery itself. And we're just learning how to manage that in the building process. So we'll definitely be changing and moving codes to address those hazards that exist relative to those.
And does the city take any involvement in looking at the grid, since we're in such a hot area in the Southwest, knowing that the California grid is overloaded too often and people are without power and everything?
We at the Building and Safety Department do not do that. We do not look at the grid.
You pass
but what's nice about these is they'll take the solar energy from your integrated photovoltaic systems and store it in the battery so you don't have to rely on the grid. That would be the advantage of energy storage systems.
Okay.
And then some other trends in building codes and enforcement. So obviously we had the situation in Florida, in Surfside, Florida, with the building collapse. We'll see the codes migrate to having some more maintenance in buildings. Currently, building departments don't have a maintenance component. And so one of the things that we'll probably see that come out of that disaster is some new regulations that will help to maintain those buildings so we don't have that situation. The cause is still under investigation, and NIST is doing the evaluation, but we'll learn more about that moving forward. Do you have a question?
No, you're fabulous.
Oh, thank you. So we also are looking at affordable housing as an issue in the building code. So one of the things that went in the last building code adoption was tiny homes. So we now have rules and regulations that we can address tiny homes. So we have a lot of variances that you can use in the tiny home process. We also, when we do national codes, we always have a cost impact statement that we have to evaluate as code officials are looking at new codes. You probably wonder, electric vehicles, right? Why would the building official be worried about electric vehicles? So again, we're looking at what that hazard is. We understand as building and fire officials what an internal combustion hazard is, but we have electric vehicles that are moving forward, right? They're 2030, Volvo's going 100%. Electric fleet, GM's going in 2035. Electric vehicles are here to stay. So how do we address the hazard in buildings? How is a parking garage full of electric vehicles different than a parking garage full of internal combustion engine cars. It's going to be different. How is it different? We're not exactly sure. We'll learn as we move forward, but we'll see where those things go in the future. The other issue is we're looking at charging stations. There's a lot of folks and people that are trying to get things into the building code and then might come to public officials to look to have electric vehicle charging in all of the parking or have it readily adaptable for electric vehicle charging. So they're trying to get it in the code. Sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not, but then they might come down to public officials. So it's going to be a public policy decision at some point is how much electric vehicle charging is necessary at this time or sometime in the future to facilitate the new fleets that are going through. Our energy codes are completely evolving. They have been since I can remember. We're really looking at how energy codes are impacting our climate and the climate change initiatives that our elected officials in Washington are looking at. The building codes are looking at more green, sustainable, net zero approaches in the code. So we'll see where that goes in the future. And the other thing I wanted to mention was the factory-built construction. So we're seeing a lot, either the entire building or portions of a building being constructed in a facility off-site. So how do we, as code officials, inspect those buildings? How do the entities deal with the state contractors' regulations and the design professional regulations, where these things may be out of state or out of country constructed off-site and brought into the facility? And so how do we make sure that our citizens are safe with the same level and standards that if it were built in a facility that we are remotely located from? So we'll be looking at processes and procedures in codes and standards that'll help develop that in the future. So I promise you this is the last slide.
That's interesting.
I could stand up here and talk about building and safety for another 4 hours, but I know you probably want to have lunch. So later this year, building and safety will be merging with the Department of Planning to become the Community Development Department. So we'll be looking to make those changes and work under Mr. Floyd's leadership as the director of that department. We will continue always to improve our online services for our customers. We have been working on an electronic Mylar signature process for our civil plans. That's getting closer incrementally every time we start talking about this process. So it's, instead of having a Mylar run through all the utilities and all the jurisdictions for sign-off, it goes electronically, a part of our electronic initiative of plans. We're this close. We're literally on the edge of introducing a new dashboard, a dashboard 2.0 for our customers that gives our users more flexibility, more customization, more searching tools. Some of our clients, especially in the home building industry, have thousands of applications with us, so they'll be able to search and have tabs where they have active projects, projects that need their attention, and projects that are archived, so they'll have those access to them much easier. We'll continue to leverage our remote video or remote virtual inspection process to include more inspections and more things that we do that we feel confident we can do in a virtual setting. Especially one of the things that my vision for this is definitely get the inspectors out of hazardous situations, off of roofs, out of trenches, in those type of scenarios where they pose some level of risk. So we want to move as many of those outside the traditional walking the site to areas where we can do that remotely through technology. We'll continue to make internal improvements to our mobile dashboard. One of the things that's close to happening is we'll have our inspectors be able to access the plans, the electronic copies of the plans on their mobile devices. And we'll continue to look at our plan review tools, our electronic plan review formats, and our database, so we can do everything we need to do as code officials and safety officials, gather data that's necessary for Census Bureau reporting, interest in community development, and how many permits we're issuing, and valuation, and what type of buildings we're issuing. We'll do all that. One of my soapboxes is, after we went electronic plan review, one of my soapboxes is to go with it's E-Plan 2.0, I guess. It's elimination of the paper or PDF application, where our customer will go to the web portal and fill out the information and instead of us taking that information that they would type in and we place it in the computer, they put it into the web, and it'll go into our database. So it'll eliminate some steps, and it'll make the process a little bit easier. So that's one of my things I'm hoping to get done here pretty quickly. I think I just put everyone on notice.
How much backup do you have on all of that? I'm thinking, my goodness, what if it goes down?
We'll have to ask IT about that. We have some service disruptions, but when we have service disruptions, they're very small now. They're very light when that happens. It's a matter of a few minutes. One of the things we asked IT to do was to ping the system, so if a server goes down on the weekends or it goes down during the day, that they know about it before anyone else would know about it. So we have that active system.
So Mayor, this is Jorge Cervantes. One of the things that IT's been working on and we've got in place is some of our applications, even though it may be offline, not talking to the server, they can still fill out the form. It just won't go into the server, so it'll buffer there. And when the connection comes back in, it downloads the information. So it really doesn't interrupt from the application's perspective. They won't know their system had an issue or it's down. They can still fill out the application, submit their things. It'll just be buffered there until a connection is established and then downloads.
So I'm in over my skis, truly, but how do we protect everything that's in there with cybersecurity where, multitudes of backups, so if this one's down, this one...
So we have that system in place, Mayor. As you know, we back up everything daily, and so the servers we have out of switch, everything goes to that every night and backs it up there. So we've got our on-site servers, but we also have off-site servers, and we've got servers that we even disconnect off the internet. So if there is a cybersecurity, those have no connection to the internet. There's no way to do it, and we call those cold storage. And so we do that often also. We just dump everything into a cold storage, so if somehow there is a cybersecurity breach, we still have something that was never connected to the internet, was disconnected.
Yeah, because that would really frighten me with all that you're throwing onto this now, getting rid of all the paper, and all these people have their lives in that application, and the system is down.
We've been relying on technology for almost my entire career. Even when I started 30 years ago, there was some level of technology that was built into the system. So we just been migrating technology further and further advancing. And thanks, Jorge, for that response. You can tell he's an advocate for our technology platforms. And so I heartfelt thank you to Jorge for all the leadership he's had in this. So the other thing, to cap off the whole technology issue, we want to be the Amazon of building permits and inspections. That's our goal. We want to be the best at what we do. And finally, we're going to continue to be a leader in the built environment. We're going to continue to provide the best customer service that we can possibly provide to our customers. We're going to be the department that people come to for best practices. They want to see, how does the city of Las Vegas process permits? How do they do PV? How do they do electronic? How do they integrate their web portal with their permitting database, with their electronic plan review tools? They're going to come to us. And on the unlikely scenario that another department is doing something better than us, we'll go find them out, and we'll figure out how they're doing their work, and we'll see if that's right for us as well. We're going to stay active locally and nationally in codes and standards development, because we need to know the why of why the codes are the way they are. If someone says, why do I need a handrail here, or why do I need a guardrail? When we're at the code hearings and we're active with it, we can tell them why. We can tell the why behind just the sentence in the code that says what's required. And we're going to continue to provide our community with safe, sustainable, reliable, cost-effective, code-compliant construction, and we'll always do it being kind, committed, and smart. And so with that, I will answer any questions I can answer for you.
So where does one sign up for classes, though? My gosh, you could be running a whole university department. Are you teaching anybody?
Not at this time.
That needs to be. Yeah. That's the future.
He teaches us at the building department.
Mayor, actually, this works out once again. We used to have out the DSC where we'd have sessions, both the building department, the planning department, where we bring in our customers, our developers, our more usual, and teach them about some stuff. Here's this process, get feedback from them. We stopped that during COVID, but we're probably going to start up again. We used to call it just the DSC University, and we bring folks in every month and have a different department with business licensing. Here's the easiest way for you to apply, answer questions. We bring in usually we get about 20, 30 people, depending on what the course is, come in for all those meetings. And it was a great way for them to interact with our staff, to ask questions, and for us to hear what are some of the challenges, where are you struggling in our system that we can better perform. So we're looking at starting that up again.
So can we sort of up that again, take a look when we start? I think it's incredible. I mean, obviously you could, and your team. Just such an incredible opportunity for learning for so many, and also to gain the information, as Jorge's just said. Fabulous report, fabulous.
Thank you.
Okay, comments, questions? Oh my gosh, yes, Mayor. Brian Knudsen, Councilman, please.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Just if, as far as learning goes, if you ever run into Mr. McCosker in the garage, he'll teach you all about the bricks, because I got a lesson on the bricks in our garage of City Hall. So I just wanted to comment on the fact that a lot of, we get to meet with developers on a pretty regular basis. To a person, you have an amazing reputation. And as do you, Mr. Cunningham. So you can talk about the technology, you can talk about the timeliness between the cities and the county and how the developers interact with the cities and the county, but it comes down to relationships, and they know who you are and they trust you. So even if they don't agree on something that's happening, they talk about their respect for you and the decisions that you make. And that's true of Mr. Floyd as well. And so that's why it makes this job a lot easier, because any challenge or problem that comes up, it's easy to call you and get a response very quickly. You're always very fast. And the person on the other end respects the decision that you make, and I just really appreciate that. And you put the City of Las Vegas on a new level compared to our peer jurisdictions within Southern Nevada. So thank you for all your work. And I'll take lessons any day. I may not remember it, though, but thank you.
Thank you. I'm surprised you remember the conversation we had when I was looking at that CMU wall in the garage, and I was pointing out the blocks that weren't quite as straight. I started in the masonry industry when I was like 17 years old as a hod carrier, which is the assistant to a mason who mixes the mud and gets the work ready. And so when I moved to be a mason, my boss would have never let me have a block out of line like that. But
I remember the lesson, and every day that I park, I walk in and I think there's something wrong with these bricks.
But yeah, and I thank you for the kind words. I'm very pleased to help the construction industry, and I said this is my passion and my love, and I'm serious. I live for this. So, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to do it.
Well, we thank you for this fabulous report, and anybody that's watching. That's what life's about: is find something you love to do and spend your life doing it. So it's a blessing for you and for us, of course.
I think somebody at the last meeting said, if you do a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Isn't that the truth?
And
I've
only worked a couple of days.
So that means you're never retiring, obviously.
No
we
comments.
appreciate a great report.
Madam Mayor, I did have a question.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I know that a lot of your presentation focused heavily on the construction industry. I know that that's the industry that keeps you the most busy, new builds, residential developments, but we do have to interface and help out our residents as well. And so I wanted just to publicly thank the department for being part of our neighborhood beautification pilot and continued work in that space and addressing other issues that happen over time, and that because our residents aren't informed, they get caught in different predicaments or different circumstances, and you're part of that solution to kind of cut them loose or put them on a pathway where they're not constantly on our radar. And so you guys played a really important role in that. So I wanted to make sure that we recognize that you are kind of committed and smart with our residents as well. I did want to ask you, because I've been noticing per your graphs about the increase in permitting and inspections that is, falling on the shoulders of the Building and Safety Department. Are we keeping up with staffing levels? As in 2018, we did roughly about 20,850 some, permits and inspections. And then in 2021, it jumped up to 26. And I mean, we don't want the workload to be so heavy on our staff that then it kind of bogs down the process. We're slower in turnaround. But with 90+% on some of them. It's hard to beat that, but I just want to make sure that that balance and that workload is there for our folks who are working in your department.
Thank you, Councilwoman Diaz, through you, Mayor. So, yeah, so one of the things that my vision for a very effective building department, especially in the field, is 25 inspections per man per day, or per person per day. Now, I think that's the sweet spot. Now, track inspectors on housing tracks will probably go out with a few more, and folks in the downtown and single stop inspectors, they'll have a few less. But 25 is a sweet spot. ISO looks at that number, and that's how they gave us such a favorable rating, because our numbers are in their range. Their range is more like 15 to 20, but I think that range is a little bit lower. I think we can handle 20 to 25 is the sweet spot. If you saw on that chart last year, we did 27 inspections per person per day. So we're a little bit higher than where we'd like to be. But I guess being also an enterprise fund, we want to take a very conservative perspective on hiring people, because once you hire somebody, you're in for a lifetime, right? So we take a pretty conservative perspective, because we're a custodian of the construction industry's money, being an enterprise fund. So we take it very carefully, and we were hit very hard in the recession. In the other jurisdiction I worked at, we had 115 inspectors, and I had 30 afterwards. So I'm telling you, that's a huge hit. So we were all hit by that. So we take hiring people very seriously. We want to make sure that those numbers really justify in their long term. So we do take that. We'll work a little bit harder as we can, but we always are cognizant of, that's why we put on that chart how many inspections per person per day we do, because I think that's a gauge for us that can we still maintain the level of quality and the level of service? Because one or two things are going to happen when we start creeping up to 27 to 30 to 32 inspections. We're either going to do less quality inspections, or we're going to roll over a whole bunch. And neither one of those are good for either our construction community or our citizens. So we need to manage that number, so we try to always do that. And we've been very successful with the budgeting office and with our enterprise fund committee in getting the resources we need.
Awesome, and we also need to account for retirements too, because then there's people who may be moving on. We need to make sure we're cross-training or bringing new individuals up. So just know that we're supportive in making that department as efficient and turn around as quickly as possible, because I know that a lot of folks that we interface with in our office bring to us their concepts and their buildings and their plans and their vision, and they're just saying, can we get this done yesterday, right? And so a lot of times, that while we understand time is money and things are bogged down, or, as more days lapse, it's encumbered costs. We just want to keep a balance, right? Both for the employees and for the folks that we're working hard every day to meet their expectations. So I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, if I can, I would like to invite you to help us with our budget, because we just met on our budget yesterday, and the whole theme of our budget was, how do we build the next generation of plan reviewers and inspectors, so we have this bench strength and we have this capability for folks that are moving. Obviously, there'll be a cycle of folks that will retire out, and luckily for us, to some degree, most of the inspectors, when I started, I think 3/4 of the inspectors were less than 5 years, and now we have like a handful of inspectors. So we've had a lot of the cycle out of the inspectors, so that's a good thing. So I think our staffing is really good in terms of age and experience, and they're right in that sweet spot. They still have a number of years left to provide service to the city, and their experience. So I think we're in that kind of sweet spot where we have good staff, we have some future longevity as well. And I heard retirement mentioned twice, so I don't want to talk about it.
Well, it's the devotion to, and the caring, and the type and the quality of the human being that's educated, experienced, and has the passion. And so as you staff up and maybe renew this teaching end of it as well, that this is so greased, and I know all of us as we're out in the communities around the country talking about how well the city operates. And it is because of the collegiality, it's because the history of moving things along and trying to pass on the essence of reaching for higher quality, not accepting mediocrity. And it gives us great pride. I have one last thing to ask before we move on. I'm not sure it's your department, but resultant of the Alpine fire, the council had asked through our city manager the inspections of buildings from 1981 backwards. And where are we with that request? Is that, have all those inspections of those,
Mr. Floyd's going to answer that question.
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. So our code enforcement department is leading that, and we have our quarterly update for you in March, but just to let you know where we are, last time we spoke to you, I think it was in December, we were just performing that week our 6th. This week we are doing, it's either our 11th or 12th, so we're moving through those, and we'll give you a full report on what we're finding. I'll just tell you as a quick preview, without being fully prepared for this discussion in full detail, but we're finding we're having to do a lot of re-inspections on some of those properties because there are issues that we see that need correction, and we're going back. But we have hired, thanks to you all, the city manager, we are on the cusp of hiring a couple of new code enforcement officers, which will increase our capacity for getting those done faster. But we are moving right along, and we're following up with those properties. Mayor, you also had asked us about fourplexes, and we're working on that as well, and we'll report on that in March at the appropriate time.
So how does code enforcement integrate with planning, with building safety? I mean, to me, those are one concept.
So, Mayor, they are related. In fact, code enforcement used to be in building and safety before they moved around and moved to planning. So our code enforcement officers are certified to review a number of things, so they're a little more generalist, I guess is the right way to put it, than our building inspectors. If we have a question, though, we work quite a bit with Mike Giordano, for example. We work with him a lot, asking him questions as things come up. But we do that initial inspection, and then we follow up with Kevin's team as necessary. And Mike was right. They work with us on an almost daily basis, so there's a lot of collaboration between those divisions.
Because I would think that's the biggest part, is you're inspecting the new and creating what you're doing there. Certainly on these older buildings, what's happening beyond finding something and penalizing or whatever is happening.
Well, and Mayor, I would also add that a lot of those violations require building permits. So if that's the case, or if we find unpermitted work, that's when they shift over to working with Kevin's team.
I can't tell you how grateful, thank you, Mr. Floyd, but I can't tell you how grateful we are for both of you and everything that you've dreamt of and enjoy doing, and we're so proud of you at the city. It's a wonderful comfort for all of us as we talk to prospective investors and residents and building people that you're there. So we thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And you're throwing the praise on me, but really, honestly, it's the team that deserves the praise. They do the hard work every day. I was meeting with the inspectors this morning, and they left in the dark when it was like 34 degrees outside. So, you know, it's the team that does the work. It's not me. So I'm the one that's blessed to get to work with them. So I'm just one of the other guys that work at the building department.
Just make sure you fix the garage, please.
I'll have to find my old trowel somewhere in the garage.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Cunningham, as well. Great report. No vote needed on that, and we will then move on to number 43, which is a report by Dr. Tammy Malich, Director of Department of Youth Development and Social Innovation, regarding the accomplishments and future projects at the department. Welcome back.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. City Council, Dr. Tammy Malich, Director of Youth Development and Social Innovation. For the record, we do not know much in our department about laminated nor carbon lumber, but we do know a little bit about customer service and community. Within the department, we are kind of focused, we have reorganized a little bit. I have been with you now 2 years, shy of 2 days of being here 2 years. So thank you for that. I too have the honor of working with an incredible team. A lot of my team is here, and so I would like to recognize them because they are wonderful human beings. And like I said, it's truly an honor and a blessing. And so I thank all of you for giving me this. We're organized in kind of in two facets, if you will, our youth programming and then our social innovation. To fulfill that mission, we're really looking at a range of programs that fall in kind of two different categories. One is our educational programs and one is our equity programs. Within education, we have our Strong Start Academies with Acelero, our Head Start provider. We have our Strong Start Go mobile preschools, Reinvent Schools Las Vegas, Safe Key, before and after school care, Reinvent After School Program, that's a grant-funded arm of the Safe Key extension, or extension of the Safe Key and the Reinvent. Batteries Included Next Gen, and Batteries Included. Within our equity side of the house, we have the Youth Neighborhood Association Partnership Program, which you heard about today, Mayor's Faith Initiative, Little Free Libraries, Cox Innovation Lab at our Strong Future Technology Training Center, Strong Future Youth Employment Program, Las Vegas My Brother's Keeper Alliance, Workforce Training, Multicultural Community Relations, AmeriCorps Service Member and VISTA programs, the Harbor, where we are a partner, and Community Revitalization. We're going to start by looking at some of our education programs. Our Strong Start Academies with Acelero. I gave you 2018-19 to give you kind of a pre-pandemic idea of enrollment and then current enrollment. And so that gives you an idea at Alta where they're at. At our Lorenzi Park location, their enrollment is actually exceeding their pre-COVID enrollments. Our Stupak Academy, again, we added a classroom though, so in all fairness, we increased capacity. And then Wardell opened in October of 2020 in the current enrollment. Our Acelero sites are working with staffing challenges and serving a community where families are just beginning to feel comfortable again to bring their little ones, especially these babies are not at vaccination age, and so really getting them back into a safe environment where they can continue learning. Our Strong Start Go mobile pre-K programs, our 1.0, the first bus, our West site, which is behind the Doolittle Community Center, is at 80% of enrollment capacity right now. And our East Las Vegas site, which is adjacent to Gary Reese Freedom Park at Mojave and Bonanza, is at 100% capacity. And so that is good news. Our Strong Start Go 2.0, our newer bus, has had multiple technical problems. It has been in the shop a lot, which has impacted enrollment. Our Red Rock program, which is located at Red Rock Elementary School, is enrolled at 50%, and our historic West Side School campus bus site is at 60%. We are continuing to work with our enrollment numbers, but like I said, some of our challenges have resulted in the second bus. The hydraulic system is different, and it is not necessarily superior, we are finding. So. Another thing that we did in the past year, we distributed Chromebooks to our little ones in our Strong Start programs so that if kiddos had to be quarantined, we had a way to communicate with them. If our bus goes down, one of our buses went down late yesterday, so our team on 2.0 is teaching virtually today so that those kiddos can continue instruction. It also allows us to do parent engagement activities through a literacy program, Epic Reading, and Ready Rosie, which helps us bridge the divide at home with parents feeling comfortable with the technology part of learning, especially with our public schools and charter schools still relying heavily on virtual learning models, at least in a short term as kids are being quarantined, or in a long term for kids that aren't comfortable returning to school. As well, over 90% of our students in our Strong Start programs have not attended a preschool program for a variety of reasons. Some of them are on wait lists for CCSD. Others, parents are not quite comfortable yet with full-day programs. And so we become a huge connection for these young people to create a level playing field for them as they enter kindergarten. Our Reinvent Schools Las Vegas, we currently have 16 Reinvent schools. So through the pandemic, we actually added schools. We increased by 3. Our 2 newest schools are Rexbell and Wasden Elementary Schools. The team has been The small but mighty team has been very busy. We have supported fall festivals at 6 of our schools where we served, you can see, over 4,600 attendees. Parents and community members are ready to get back into the community and get resources. We used 64 volunteers to do that, and we had 89 community partners. We were able to provide services on site like vision screening, dental visits, Immunize Nevada on site, legal aid, supportive services. Many of our city departments, our Department of Public Safety, had marshals on site. So again, connecting our community and our youth to resources and creating positive relationships, especially with our law enforcement arm of the city and our young people. We're looking at our Skills Trade Early Explorer program, which is an extension of a workforce training program for our older teens and young adults. This, however, is based on elementary age students, and it is programming that provides students with opportunities to look at career opportunities earlier, especially in the skilled trades where they may have an interest, and help them kind of determine what courses they may want to take in high school even. We can't start those conversations soon enough. It also starts them thinking about and talking about a college and career pathway and what that looks like. We have multiple partners at the table, including the trade unions, Workforce Connections, and the Clark County School District. We also were able to provide new shoes to 200 students through a donation from the Mayor's Fund. That rose as a precipitating issue that many of our principals were faced with young people that didn't have proper fitting or protective footwear because the footwear had deteriorated, and our team was able to support them through that effort. We've also been working with UNR social work program. They're very interested in looking at a communities and schools model, which is what our Reinvent Schools Las Vegas is modeled around, and working with the Washoe and the state to look at advocating for our Reinvent Schools program and a new communities and schools model. They want to stand up in Washoe and really trying to capitalize on some state funding. So more to come on that. Our before and after school programs, not quite at our pre-COVID enrollment. We're currently serving 62 of our elementary school sites. We only have one elementary school that we are not programming, and that was a decision of the school because they have no buses and they have other community partners on site. We currently have 5,782 students registered. Our average attendance for our AM has been 75,577 AM attendance visits, and our PM, you can see, well over 104,000. And this was through December, so these numbers haven't increased since then. In an effort to continue to provide more programming and add more schools and create more free sites without asking for more fiscal resources, we applied for a 21st Century grant, and we were able to support 7 elementary schools through 21st Century. They are provided after-school programming at no cost. That was, like I said, a huge benefit. The 21st Century grant is a very heavy lift, but it was necessary to support our community, so the team did so. 275 youth are in that program, with 7,555 have attended AM sessions, and 11,438 have attended our PM sessions. Our batteries included Next Gen, which serves our middle school population. We've served 200 youth. They have provided 100 hours of community service over the past year, and we've had 1,000 teens engaged at multiple events. Some of the events you can see are summer circuits. We worked with Ward 3 on a community cleanup. Garside Junior High School house party event. I guess if you put house party in the title, they will come. Because community cleanup, not as much. One of the lessons learned, we're going to call everything a house party from here on. Our FAFSA night, 30 in attendance, really important that parents and youth understand the importance of filing early for the FAFSA. And we were able to support kiddos on a fall college tour and help introduce them to college life at the middle school age.
Hip hop is also a popular thing in a title. So we're going to have house parties and hip hop events. Batteries included is our high school programming. We've served 600 teens in the past year, and they have accrued 1,000 hours of community service. And we served over 3,000 teens at school events. Some of those events, the summer circuits, our toe tag monologue summit, mental health talk with Solomon Thomas here in Chambers. Fabulous event for young people to normalize talking about mental health needs and concerns. FAFSA night as well, a virtual college fair, and then a fall college tour. Getting young people on college campuses is really important so that at least they are fully aware when they make a determination as to what their final decision in their early adulthood is, that they make an informed decision. Let's talk about our equity programs. You heard today the YNAP item for 30 of our Grant Review Board finalists, and we appreciate that you approved that item. That recommended funding total you saw already. I cut off the cents on this for sake of cleanliness on the slide. But the grant match, I think, is really significant, $361,000 and $361,378. Historically, I know this was in our earlier presentation, but I think it's really impactful by the grace of this council and our mayor. Historically, we've been able to fund 622 projects, over $500,000 in funding awarded, and over $5.5 million in grant match. So that's been the positive impact to our community. We really appreciate that. Our Mayor's Faith Initiative, they have continued to support, and they're actually ramping up, and they have reorganized. It has been a wonderful thing to participate in. They have really focused on their main priorities, supporting homeless services, educating the community to end human trafficking, and increasing inclusion, community inclusion, and citizen engagement. They have also worked with us in real time, and they have been ready and willing to support us with community response to recovery from the pandemic, as well as the needs of our homeless population through COVID and through the excessive heat last summer. So we really appreciate our Mayor's Faith Initiative and our faith leaders. Some of the events that they have supported over the past year with community partners that were all free and open to the public. The National Day of Prayer on May 6th. We had 120 residents come together to pray for the community. The National Human Trafficking Hotline. Nevada is currently 13th in human trafficking, and so the need to continue to support this is not only very much resounds with our faith community, but also with our team. They have hosted 8 trainings for faith leaders and parents to educate the community, and they have also hosted a human trafficking online summit. As I mentioned before, during our excessive heat warnings, they mobilized 10 members to go out into the community and share with our homeless population about cooling stations, ensure that they had water so that we could hydrate them and help navigate them to our cooling stations. Upcoming plans to engage residents and continue the work, hosting re-engagement events, and a resource fair for our faith leaders. They have rounded out their faith leadership team by adding a couple of new members, and so ensuring that they provide re-engagement resource fair for those new members as well as existing is really important. Hosting a citywide unity prayer. 2 more human trafficking online summits are planned, and another annual men's conference. Our little free libraries currently exist at 10 locations. Fire Station 43 at Cameron Park, the Historic West Side School campus, Booker Elementary School, Leeburn Senior Center, Matt Kelly, Robert Lunt Elementary Schools, Strong Start Academy at Alta, Strong Start Academy at Lorenzi, the Harbor Juvenile Assessment Centers, and Wendell P. Williams Elementary School. We're in conversation right now to determine if Sartini Plaza is a future site of a Little Free Library, working with their board. They also, the team participated in the West Side Community Block Party, where they were able to distribute over 100 books to 300 participants. And they also participated in the 20th anniversary Las Vegas Book Festival. We have already started planning to partner in future events and doing a wider reach with our Little Free Libraries and the Las Vegas Book Festival with our friends in OCA, so that we can include youth to a greater extent with our author visits and with the book festival, and ensure that literacy starts at a very early age. It's a very well-attended event, and we're also in conversations about doing a book exchange right here at City Hall for our employees. Our Cox Innovation Lab at the Strong Future Technology Training Center, it has truly, in a very short time, become a hub of activity for the community. They've served over 1,900 residents to date, 1,572 in person, 250 virtual, and 96 accessed the virtual recording after the event. We've offered 124 different course offerings to date. Impressive, because we have not yet been open a full year. A lot of esports and student resource fairs, the Gundam Robotics, A Day to Learn and Compete, Video Game Development Career Day, Back to School Esports Exhibition, and our Senior Computer Basic classes. The esports we are handling both from a recreational standpoint as well as a workforce development standpoint. There are jobs in this field where young people can make a lot of money, and so really getting them to think about this as a career choice, not just for fun. And our senior computer basics classes have been very well received, targeting our senior population and giving them basic computer skills, especially with the pandemic, so they can communicate with family members elsewhere, send video, do WebExes and online conversations. That's been really helpful, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that in just a minute. Our partnerships include Nevada Esports Education League and the College of Southern Nevada. They have stood up programming adult ESL classes and community health worker classes in our site in preparation for the upcoming Historic West Side Training and Development Center. Our Strong Future Youth Employment Program very much has impacted our young people at a time when many of them have needed not just to work to buy those fancy tennis shoes they want, but work to help their families pay bills. And so it's been really helpful. We have 227 youth currently employed through this program. 200 received paid on-the-job training. 100 engaged in our Employability Olympics, and over 100 hours of civic engagement was provided. We have multiple partners in that, and you're going to hear a little bit about the future of that program in a second. Moving on to our Las Vegas My Brother's Keeper Alliance. We are one of the few cities who have been invited to participate, and we have done so for the last 3 years in the Bloomberg and Obama Foundation National Jurisdiction Calls. They rely on the City of Las Vegas as a leader in this work, and we are a partner that shares out monthly with both of those organizations. We started this year the I Am MBK podcasts, really aimed at bridging relationships between law enforcement and community. At a time when other cities, urban cities, were struggling in that area, we wanted to be proactive and do something in a proactive way that has been very well received. We have a partnership with our local law enforcement and an organization from Houston, the Teens and Police Services Academy. The team wrote a grant for it from the Bureau of Justice Assistance. It was a very very well-resourced grant, and thus far, we've been able to serve 100 youth. And again, these young people are working with law enforcement officers from multiple jurisdictions and learning how maybe a future employment opportunity may exist for them in a law enforcement role instead of anti-law enforcement, which some of our young people in some communities, that's the conversation. And so really trying to change that conversation. This year we hosted the inaugural Young Men of Color Leadership Conference. We had approximately 400 young men. It was a pretty incredible event, and people are still talking about it to date. It was our first and hopefully not our last. It is something that we plan on continuing to move forward. We're also partnering with our friends in the Department of Juvenile Justice Services to host a Young Women's Conference in March, so we're not leaving the young women out. We will be headed in that direction next month. And then at the end of last month, actually last week, it seems like months ago, we hosted our 6th annual Las Vegas MBK conference, Fighting for Our Future, Healing Our Community to Heal Our Youth. We had approximately 1,000 attendees, really focused on taking care of yourself and your own mental, physical, social, emotional needs and well-being so that you can support the youth in our community. Appreciation to our mayor, Councilman Creer, and Councilwoman Diaz, who kicked off that event for us. Very well-attended event, very much an event that the community looks forward to. In our adult workforce development work, our Advanced Connectivity for Community and Economic Development, a partnership between Public Works and IT and YDSI and Community Services. We are expanding connectivity through an EDA grant of just under $2 million. We've started it with supporting education, and now we're looking at higher ed and workforce and job training. It's a closed network. It is not an open network. It has the ability to be open, but our goal is really about supporting the digital divide for education, both in K-12 as well as 12-16, as well as providing job training formats to those that may have barriers with physical attendance or have health issues with physical attendance. We're currently working with Chef Jeff to stand up a brick and mortar, both a brick and mortar as well as a mobile culinary training lab to bring culinary training workforce to the communities. We're looking currently in Ward 5 as well as Ward 3, and we have submitted one grant already, and we have a couple that are pending, and so more to come on those. We're working with the Governor's Office of Workforce Innovation and the U.S. Department of Labor and CSN. We received a $3.9 million grant for registered apprenticeship programs in the areas of healthcare, information technology, and manufacturing. And so we were not the direct recipient. We are a partner, and so we are working with them vigorously to make sure that these dollars get spent and do not get returned. Since we are not the fiscal agent, we're nudging gently to make sure that this happens, and we stand ready to support this work. We had the opportunity to meet with the Secretary Walsh, the Secretary of Labor, to talk through this, and it's been, this is a program that we think will be very beneficial to the entire community. We're in the final design phase of the Westside Education Training Center at the historic Westside School campus. You may recall that was the largest EDA grant in the state's history, $6.9 million. And then we will go into preparing for the construction phase. So that is coming along nicely. We are trying to get to a size that is workable from an operations standpoint. CSN will be the operator. These will all be stackable credentialed programs that can lead to higher ed or directly into the workforce without student loans. We are also hosting our Workforce Connections partner through an Employee NV Center at the historic Westside School campus. They are really working to provide job skill training, supportive services, and help future or potential employees navigate career needs, job training, equipment, special equipment, or uniform needs so that we can get those employed. They're focusing on targeted zip codes, but we are looking at expanding that partnership as well so that we can be more impactful. We have opened and operated the Historic West Side Career Closet through a generous donation from Zappos through the Mayor's Fund. That donation has allowed us to provide career clothing to those in preparation for job interviews and even their first week of employment. We have been able to use those resources to support them, and that has been very much appreciated by our future employment field. We're in the final production phase of our new vertical farming systems. Those are plug-and-play urban farming containers that will be located in James Gay Park. Again, we are looking at this not just as a food insecurity solution, but as a workforce solution. How do we create a team of urban farmers in the food desert? Because this is a model that is scalable, and we would like to scale into other wards, but we need a workforce of urban farmers. I'm trying to learn how to be an urban farmer in my spare time, but it's a heavy lift, and so we need to create a workforce in this regard. Multicultural community relations. Hispanic Heritage Month Committee celebrated their 5th year of recognizing and celebrating contributions from the Hispanic community, the history, the culture, the achievements, and we will continue. We have met recently with our friends in Government Community Relations, and we will be working with their new team member on tagging him into some of these multicultural events so that we can expand this out and have a wider reach. The Latino Network of Southern Nevada, in partnership with Somos Votantes, Ward 1 and Ward 3 is piloting a Latino youth shadowing experience with the city to empower Latino youth to be more involved in policy, politics, and local government. We're really excited about that and thankful to Councilman Knutson and his team for kind of initiating this and jumping in first and inviting us along. So we're really looking forward to that. I know that Councilwoman Diaz works with youth from a charter school, and I've had the honor of getting to know those youth when I meet with her team, and it's very helpful to be able to guide and mentor these young people. Our annual Trailblazers event was yesterday. It was a very successful event. I felt like this year's recipients were really grassroots leaders in education, business and economic advancement, community activism and politics, and spiritual, as well as the Tyrone Thompson Emerging Leader Award. They went to very well-deserving members of our community that are doing great work. Thank you to the mayor who was with us for that event, as well as for Councilman Creer, and they were there from start to finish, and I know their schedules are busy, so we appreciate that. Councilman Creer also highlighted the new inductees into the Historic West Side Legacy Park. We are also looking in the future at expanding our Trailblazers event to include other cultural groups so that we can also pay homage to those in other cultural groups. So that is one of our to-come items. AmeriCorps. Our AmeriCorps service member program, it's probably, in my opinion, one of the most under-touted and underused programs in Nevada, and something that we aim to correct. Last academic year, we had 49 AmeriCorps service members. They served more than 27,000 service hours. They earned $75,000 in education awards. These human beings are just incredible. They literally work at the poverty wage to earn education credits to go on and do even more incredible things. Peace Corps, graduate school, they're just incredible human beings. So we're looking at expanding that. Our Community Navigator program we stood up during COVID, expanding that so that it wasn't just a COVID thing. We learned that the community needs help with navigating services, from workforce to employment to academic support, housing, healthcare, et cetera. And so we've written that in now as more permanent part of our grant. We're looking at expanding our Community Navigator program through our new grant, and we've expanded our service members beyond our Reinvent Schools to support our Strong Start Go programs, family engagement, batteries included, community revitalization. workforce and our LGBTQIA+ initiatives. And so using that workforce to come in and support those. We also applied for and received a planning grant to consider expanding our AmeriCorps program into the areas of public safety and healthcare and the environment. So it opens a lot of opportunity to serve some of our other city departments. And we're working with the Office of Strategic Services in the city to look at an expansion of AmeriCorps programming to other city departments. Currently, primarily serves our youth development, social innovation, and then we have some vistas that serve in our community services department. The Harbor Juvenile Assessment Center, we are a partner, we are not the lead. In my role with the city, I have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Executive Steering Committee. It is really an effort to look at diverting low-level first-time offenders and supporting families by way of no wrong door, walk-in, referral from the faith-based or the school leadership or a law enforcement diversion. They take the youth in, they provide a full assessment to the youth and the entire family if the family desires, and then they connect them with service providers immediately. They do all of this at no charge. There are many partners, way too many to name, many partners in this, but we have gone from 1 harbor to 5 in 2 years. And they have served over 20,000 people, and the recidivism rate is very low. So the impact they're making is incredible, and we are proud to be a partner in this work. Community revitalization, our 100 plan in action. That work is continuing to ramp up. We've taken advantage of COVID and the funding that was available by continuing to ensure that the multi-phased approach to implement community-minded work, it has been taken to the next level, as was expected. We have multiple projects. I mentioned some, the urban farming, the Westside Training Center. We have others on the horizon that are cross-department collaborations, a market hall and small business incubator, reactivating Jackson Avenue as a main street, a mixed-level housing and vertical farming facility, as well as affordable housing in the community. That is certainly not my team alone. That is a citywide collective. Because the departments in the city collaborate so well, we've been able to make a huge impact. The Rafael Rivera Neighborhood Revitalization Plan, ramping up the work in Rafael Rivera Walkable Community as well. The Office of Community Services is the lead department on this initiative, and in that we support this work. We are working on multiple grants to support an East Side Training Development Center, as well as a mobile culinary kitchen training facility on site of the Desert Pines Golf Course. We're looking at how we bring more support into East Las Vegas community. This community is also included in our ASSED grant and is a part of our phased project for ASSED connectivity to bridge the digital divide. One of the things that we are working on vigorously and about to stand up and finalize, we're working with EUD Planning and OCS to stand up a small business support center. How do we support our small businesses? It was already piloted in Ward 3 in a smaller scale, and now how do we expand that so that we can bring the resources into the community to help them with code enforcement and business licensing and employees, future employees, employment needs, a career closet, our workforce. So really looking forward to standing that up and being able to support our community and especially our small business community. We've seen the C-Tax results and the impact of small businesses and continued business licensing, and so we think it's really important that we also provide the supports. So kind of an overview in our programming. As you can see, I know that people think of us as the education arm of the city. We like to think of ourselves as basically from birth through adulthood. We try to provide support and fill gaps where needed. And really, we've been able to do that mainly through funding awards. My team has been very vigilant about seeking dollars, capital improvement dollars in the past year, $7 million, grants, mostly federal, over $13 million, Mayor's Fund, over $1 million. Pending grants right now, we have $1.4 million pending in capital improvement. We have $7 million pending in federal grants, and $10,000 right now in requests from the Mayor's Fund. And so really proud that without any dedicated grant writers, we've been able to go out there and seek funding to stand up programmings and to continue to program where our community has great needs. With that, before I take any questions, I think the pictures in our presentation are our kiddos and my fabulous staff. And we know that videos are fun because they show you the impact of programming, but we thought it would be even more fun for you to actually see in here firsthand a small snippet of some of the impact of our programs. So I'd like to invite up Julian and Judith and Yvonne. Welcome. How exciting. This must be a first. It's a first for us. Oh, CQ. Hi, can you tell them your name?
Yeah. My name is Julian.
Julian, how old are you?
I'm 5 years old.
Oh, wow. Boy, what a strong voice, too.
Where do you go to school, Julian?
In the bus.
So you're one of our Strong Start preschool?
Yeah.
And you're going to kindergarten when?
Next year.
Oh, how exciting.
Julian will be entering kindergarten next year. What's your favorite part about being on the preschool bus?
Playing with my friends and learning.
Oh,
thank you, Julian. Julian may also be one of our future Strong Start Academy elementary charter school kiddos. So he may be joining us next year in kindergarten. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you, Julian. Bye. Goodbye. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Next is Judith Trejo, and Judith has been involved in one of our programs and now is involved as a permanent employee. So Judith.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Mayor, councilman, and councilwoman. Thank you very much for having me here today. Thank you very much, Dr. Tammy. And yeah, my name is Judith Trejo Vasquez. I started as a Strong Future intern through the Strong Future Youth Employment Program in September of 2020. And assisted with Batteries Included program, My Brother's Keeper, and Strong Future Technology Training Center. It has been a very amazing opportunity getting to learn more about what the Las Vegas community is about. This work has helped me develop many skills. Some skills that I'm so thankful for that I have been able to apply in my life are teamwork, communicating, and having the confidence to be able to speak up to you all today. Yeah, I have met many other youth my age through the Batteries Included program, which helped me grow my social skills. I wouldn't be able to talk like this, but I'm really happy with the YDSI team encouraging me, pushing me to keep going. Yeah, all these youth that I met throughout the program, they all came from different backgrounds. They were able to express their thoughts, their opinions, which helped me be able to express myself more in a respectful manner. And although we were really different from each other, we learned a lot from one another. They also helped me embrace my cultural backgrounds, being able to appreciate my bilingual skills and apply it on the daily. After the internship ended, I got hired as an hourly professional for the YDSI team, in which I assist with the workforce initiatives. And I'm just so thankful for this wonderful journey of being the YDSI team. Thank you so much.
Well, we're very proud of you and so thrilled. And as you find every day something new that you enjoy and new people with whom you work, you will find exactly who you want to become. Every day is going to be bigger and better than one before. And certainly we are just excited about how wonderfully you fit in and grown from this, and just look forward to the future with you. So thank you for coming. You spoke beautifully.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Judith. And our final participant, we talked about our senior computer classes. This lovely lady, Yvonne Davis, lives across the street, can see City Hall, and she met the mayor in Walgreens, I think, a couple weeks ago, and went up to Smith's, went up and started talking to her, and she too has benefited from multiple of our programs. So Yvonne?
Yeah. Good morning, Mayor Goodman and panel. I'm Yvonne Davis, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I've attended classes at the Strong Future Technology Training Center, which I've learned Introduction to PC, Word 1 and 2, and a little bit of Excel. I've also learned the proper use of using your smartphone because I recently got one, and a computer. I met Jared there at the YDSI Community Navigator Center, and he helped me apply for a job, excuse me, at the Safe Key. I'm currently going through the onboard process, and I'm excited and looking forward to working with the young people at the schools and to help the kids and give back to the community as a retired citizen. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. In 1972, I went to Africa, Ghana, West Africa, with Medgar College. After we returned, after a 5-week educational and cultural journey, I moved to California to study art. I had never been out of the country except going to Antigua and the rest of the West Indies. So it was a very good experience for me. In California, I'd studied fine arts history and studio arts. I worked for several museums and art galleries in San Francisco and in San Diego. I traveled extensively to other countries, France, England. I traveled throughout Mexico, visiting museums and art galleries in different countries. So I'm really looking forward to working with kids, helping them bring out their artistic endeavors. Hopefully that I'll be a good teacher. I've never worked with kids, but I'm really looking forward to it. I just wanted to give a shout out. The programs that you offer are so very, very good. I was kind of hesitant because I am a senior citizen and I'm retired, and I wasn't sure of what I wanted to do after retirement. But all of the programs that I've been through have helped me tremendously. They've let me know that because you're a senior citizen and retired, there's still life after that. Everyone has been very enthusiastic and encouraged me, especially through this program. I would say I am not a computer skilled person because I always worked with my hands and in art. But the employees that you have been very helpful and very responsive to getting me through this program. So I just wanted to let you know that you have wonderful people, wonderful programs, and I hope you continue to support them because they're greatly needed. Thank you very much.
Wow, is all I can say.
And it's funny because when we invited her to speak, I asked for one of our individuals that took the computer classes, and I had no idea initially that she also connected with one of our community navigators and then was on onboarding for SafeKey. And so I think it just shows the power of programming and commitment to serve the community.
And it's wonderful to be so open to learning and growing and not frightened. I mean, this is a very frightening piece of
I know.
And
I know, I've been fighting for a while.
I remember when my husband was first elected mayor, and he doesn't use the computer, and he was with the mouse like this. What, mine isn't working. Mine isn't working. So I just want you to know I'm so proud of you, as are we all, because it is a foreign language, and how exciting. I mean, you're an inspiration to any senior or anybody. This is the wave of the future, and that you're embracing it and sharing back is absolutely glorious.
Thank you very much. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
I hope to
I'm
see
looking
you at
forward.
Walgreens soon.
And Smith's.
And Smith's.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaughn.
Wow.
So thank you to all of you. It is because of you that we are able to do this great work and make such an impact on the community. And thank you to the fabulous YDSI team that makes all of this happen and truly makes me enjoy getting up every day and coming here to work. So thank you, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Wow. Yes, please, go ahead, Councilwoman Fiore.
Doctor, I have to say that our last guest, people don't realize that even though you're retired and, you might call yourself a senior citizen, in today's society, 65, 70 is the new 50, like it or not. Like, we are healthier, we are stronger, we are smarter. And I really want to bring that point home because as we grow, as the city grows, as City Hall grows, as Jorge Cervantes's different departments grow, I want the younger upcoming leaders to understand and respect our older leaders and know that, sometimes the younger would like to change things and erase things and eradicate things and do things different. That'll probably get you fired real quick. So I just want to be crystal clear to have the utmost respect for our seniors. It is our history. They know where all the bodies are, you know what I mean? So understand that, and I say this with a purpose for our city and our departments, because our senior staff, in my opinion, is our most valued staff because they literally have been here the longest and they know what's coming. So that's all I want to say, and I am so excited about her.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, Councilman Creer, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's a great presentation, as well as the one from before. I have to say that with all of our dealings that we have going on in Ward 5, we spend so much time working with you, your team, and the entire team of community services. Just that whole department seems to interact and intertwine, and they all come together in so many different facets. And this is not to take anything away from any other department, but we just do so much with you, and you all do so much for us. And this is just a snapshot of all the work that you do. So much does go unsung and unheard of, and sometimes unappreciated, but I hope, and it's great to see so many members of the YDSI team here so that they can hear that how much we appreciate all the work that you do, and to thank you all for the work that you do. And this is from not only myself, but from my community. You make a huge impact. I happen to be the voice of our community in many ways, but I can tell you that the work that you do is changing lives. And if you look back on yourselves in the course of the time that you spent here in the city of Las Vegas, wherever you may go, whatever you may do, you'll know that you have left here and made a huge impact on our community. I have to give praise to the city and the mayor's leadership of just forming the YDSI department. I think it's one of the most unique departments that we have, and many cities don't have a YDSI department. And I think it's so badly needed. And when I came aboard, I didn't know much about it, to be honest with you, but I was just floored away with everything that it touches. So I applaud you. I applaud Dr. Lisa Morse-Hibbler. and Jorge Cervantes and the mayor as well for leading that charge to get this department in order and to continue to make a difference in our community. We're all here for a very short period of time. I always say, what are we going to do to make a difference in the time that we are blessed to serve in these positions? And we are, with your help, we're making a huge difference. So God bless. Let's continue. Take a break this afternoon because we got a lot more work to do moving forward in our community. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Councilman Kerr.
Wow, beautifully said. Councilwoman Seaman.
Well, I'll be short. I just want to say, when you first came aboard, and it was right around COVID, I was trying to think what the purpose of this would be. And today we see it. So thank you. You know, this really came to fruition, and it became something even more exciting, bigger than what I could even imagine. So thank you for your vision, Mayor, and thank you for bringing that to fruition.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And Councilwoman Diaz?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First and foremost, I think Christian, Judith, and Ms. Davis are the examples of why we do, as a city, our work, because we want to make sure that we're offering our best and our brightest to our community to help everyone, regardless of whether they're 5 or, 65, 70 years young. We want to make sure that there's ample love to go around. I love to work with YDSI, and I am grateful for you always willing to jump on board with my team. And COVID was really challenging, and YDSI stepped up with the Community Navigator program, with being flexible in their assignments and what their roles were. And I'm just hopeful that we give you some time off, because it seems like they're constantly working on a new initiative, a new program, on meeting more needs. And so I hope that we're finding ways to recharge your batteries, because we need you to continue to be dynamic, compassionate, and really passionate about the work that you do day in and day out with our community. Know that I'm forever grateful for all of the amazing work you do on behalf of all of the residents in the city. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Diaz.
I think all I can assure you is when I heard from Dr. Hibbler that she was looking for someone to fill this position, I thought, where are you looking? And then as she continued the pursuit, and I think I first met you at one of the prayer breakfasts, I think Dr. Hibbler invited you. And then I had heard of your past, and I thought, I didn't think you would be the person you are. To find out everything, your passion, and for the time off that Councilwoman Diaz wants to give you, you have a fire burning in you that would be bored with time off. I know it, so watch out. Watch out. This is the beginning.
Oh, I know.
Every human being, every single day, every single time I meet with you and Dr. Hibbler, the energy, the excitement of being able to build a change that each one of you are doing every day. When you get up in the morning, you have to feel fabulous and excited about what you're doing, because today builds tomorrow, and we can't take time off. We have to keep at this. Time moves so quickly. And so I can't thank you enough. I think the remarkable growth, development, implementation of everything that you've been doing with Dr. Hibbler and the whole team here, it's inspirational. And I just wish the clock could keep going and going and going and not change, because the energy and everything you're doing and everything you're leading and Dr. Hibbler is leading makes the city of Las Vegas unique, inspirational, innovative, and so determined to reach every single person in our city family. All of us together, and we're all benefiting, and I can't thank you enough. We're delighted, and just the wish that Councilwoman has, enjoy the wish.
Thank
but don't you take time
Thank
off.
you, Mayor. And thank you to Dr. Morris Hibbler, obviously gifted me with this fabulous department, and she is so inspirational and supportive. When Kathy and I come to her with another crazy idea, she says, okay, if you guys can do it, do it. And then my team, again, one more thanks, but a final thanks to Julian, who gets to go to McDonald's and have lunch now before he goes to the pre-K bus. Judith, and Miss Yvonne. So thank you to all of you for letting us share your stories.
Glorious, absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. You make us feel so good.
Yeah.
So that was a report only as well, and we will now move on to agenda item 44, which is instructing the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the city planning commission meetings in dangerous building or nuisance litter abatements, please.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you, and we will now move into our final and second citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless this subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speakers allowed, may be limited. This is your opportunity to address the council, but council will not be able to respond or engage in dialogue. Are there any members of the public? Yes, we have someone. Thank you very much, and if I could trouble you to take your hat off, I would appreciate it. Thank you, so we know who you are, and you are now on film. You can put your mask back on if it makes you comfy, but if not, we're fine.
I'm okay. Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Alpert. I'm a resident of North Las Vegas, and the mayor probably recognizes me because this is like the 4th or 5th community meeting I've been to in the last 7-8 days. Last week, I was in front of the Centennial Commission meeting as well as the Historic Preservation Committee meeting. I'm a retired math teacher from Los Angeles. Alpert, A-L-P-E-R-T. I'm a retired math teacher from Los Angeles. I've been living in North Las Vegas now for 13 years, and in retirement, I've become an author. And 2 years ago, just before COVID, I released 2 books, self-published, one on the history of Kyle Ranch, which is in North Las Vegas, a very historic site. And then I followed it almost immediately thereafter with a book on the entire history of North Las Vegas, and it includes a chapter on each of the 15 mayors in the history of our city. And during COVID, I put all my efforts, hundreds and hundreds of hours, into researching early Las Vegas pioneers. I did an incredible amount of reading and research in libraries and online. And my third and most recent book, as the mayor knows because she's already gotten a copy, is called The Early Pioneers of Las Vegas. I read through for hundreds of hours every early edition of the Las Vegas Age newspaper, and I've just found about a dozen or more early pioneers who came here in 1904 to 1920 and gave up everything they had where they lived and started a new life here in the heat and the dust. So in this book, I have chapters about merchants, doctors, pharmacists, builders, mayors, and it's just, I think, a good read.
Great.
And with you guys being the leaders of Las Vegas, I thought the council would enjoy having a copy.
Yes.
The mayor has one already. I brought along, if I can get staff's assistance to pass out some copies. I have one for each council person as well as city manager Cervantes.
Mr. Albert, I've really been enjoying it, in fact, sharing it with my family, and it's very hard because they take it home and then I have to go out and drive around and get it back. But they're fascinating, every one of them, and so thorough. And I know Bob Stoldal, who's the head of Historic Preservation, as well as sitting on our Centennial Commission, so impressed with your work. And he is one who is absolutely fastidious about dates and times they be accurate.
You don't have to tell me, I know. And all the profits from my first 2 books, because they're about North Las Vegas topics, have been going to the 3 libraries in North Las Vegas. And all the profits, I'm not making any money on any of my books, all the money from sales of this current new book are being directed to the Friends of the State Museum at Springs Preserve.
Beautiful.
So I hope you enjoy it, and it was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
That is so wonderful and generous. So when are you going to tackle our city?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. No, you really enjoy it. Beautifully written, and you can tell he's in education. Anyone else wishing to please come and tell us your name and spell it if it's unusual for our clerk.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. My name is Alan Bigelow, candidate for City Council Ward 2. This morning I wanted to thank you for letting me announce my kickoff event last month. It was a tremendous success. In the past, I've been a lot of different things, been from a children's choir director to a soldier to a policeman to a fireman now. To hear the words that the people say were very humbling and very emotional to me because I've never sought glory for any of it. The second thing I wanted to thank you, Councilman Creer, for acknowledging the 20 individuals that were awarded the African American Trailblazer Service Award. And I wish that there were more people on that list. Also, I need to dispel a rumor that there's a current career politician spreading, and that the rumor is very simple. It's that Councilwoman Fiore and Major Sam Peters has encouraged me to run for office, and it's absolutely not true. I stepped up in October, and I had never met Councilman Fiore before December, and I've been talking about it for about 3 years. That person has gone on to be a bully and to intimidate other candidates that are running, and unfortunately that person is on this council, and it's Councilwoman Victoria Seaman. I wish she'd quit. Just stop being a bully. Also, on a good note, I wish everybody has a happy Valentine's Day. You guys have been working really hard for the past 2 years during this pandemic, and I certainly appreciate it. My name is Alan Bigelow, and I'm running for the City Council in Ward 2. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for coming down. Anyone else, please come forward, state your name for the record, and spell it if it's unusual, please. The microphone, that's fine if you just pull it down a little bit towards you.
My name is Grace Albanese. Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. Albanese.
Oh, you have to turn it on. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, it's on. It's on. Okay, thank you. We'll give you 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
And Steve Barrios continues stalking and harassing me, sending text messages about me that are salacious and malicious in nature. To council members here, in fact. I'd like to get a coalition of the willing amongst council members and the mayor to have him arrested. He's not telling you what he's doing. He's hacking into people's phones. If you've had the misfortune of reading Steve Barrios' text message about me, he has your phone number. That's all it takes for him to hack into your phone, is to read his text message. And now he has your phone number. He can see every keystroke on your phone. He can turn on your speaker, etc. If you've had the misfortune of reading his text messages about me that are salacious and malicious in nature. I have a restraint order here. I'm going to serve him because he wants to come here and talk to you in person, but he knows I'm going to serve him with this, a TPO order. He's missed, this will be his third court date that he refuses to show up for because he's too scared to go to TPO court March 10th. So I'm going to serve him if he comes here. He wants to come here real bad, but he knows he's going to be served to show up for court on March 10th. He's sabotaging the public buses that I'm on. He knows how to turn on all the alarms on the public buses. It's sabotage. I call Marksman Security and I tell them that Steve Barrios is setting off the alarms on the public buses, and that's sabotage. And they told Steve, if you don't stop, he's going to sue you. Marksman Security is going to sue him, and he refuses to stop sabotaging the public buses by setting off the alarms on the public buses up where the driver sits. He's also trained other people how to sabotage the public buses, and he's live streaming me, excuse the disgusting imagery, going to the bathroom, January 31st, 7:15 a.m. I haven't gone to the bathroom, eaten, taken a shower, gotten undressed without Steve Barrios in the last 8 years, live streaming it or taking lifetime video of it. The police refused to arrest him. They refused to put him into a mental hospital. I'd like to get a coalition of the willing here. I'm sure you folks took an oath to uphold the Constitution. Let's get Steve Barrios in jail. Let's put him in a mental hospital, have him psychologically evaluated. The police refuse to do it. The police are engaged in a love fest with Steve Barrios. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for coming down. Anyone else wishing to address council? Seeing, thank you.
Hi, my
Hello.
name's Lynetta Jones, and I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I gave a lady my number because
I don't know if you would mind taking your mask off because I can't understand you. Thank you. Would you say it again in your name, please?
My name is Lynetta Jones.
Lynetta Jones. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay, and I came here like 2 weeks ago and talked to you, and the lady had took my number, and I never did receive a call from anyone. Because, like I said, Metro keep telling me to come here and ask you for help for this criminal case that I'm having. So I'm trying to see who can I get help for with it, because they say the councilmen and women are the ones who really have the say-so over what I've been saying that I need help with. They said Metro, it's out of their hands. They have nothing they can do with it. So that's why I came here, and I keep coming here to try to get help from you. And you keep saying, okay, get her your number and someone, and I'll keep doing that, and no one has never contacted me.
I think Dr. Hibbler had spoken with you last time. It might have been Ms. Thomas, but I'm not sure. And so if you will step over here when she's through with her conversation, then she can tell you the follow-up of what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody has never contacted me or anything, and I'm trying to say I need help now. This is like sexual stuff that's going on and different stuff like that, stalking and...
So if you would step over there or just wait patiently, she'll be right with you.
But why do the Metro Police keep telling me that the councilmen and women has the right to do something about it? I need to talk to them, not anyone else.
I don't believe that's an
I have him on
accurate
video saying that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the video, I know, I don't think it's within our jurisdiction to do the work of Metro. That's independent of us, and this is not a law enforcement body. So the only thing I can suggest again is if you'll just step over to Dr. Hibbler. She's born and raised here and certainly could advise you what the path should be, that this is not within our jurisdiction. So I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay, I'm going to close public hearing, and we'll go on to agenda item 46, merging issues for the council, discussion regarding potential items for future city council agendas in reference to all wards. Any discussion must be limited to whether or not such a proposed item should be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur. No action shall be taken. So do any members of council like to have a topic added to discussion for the future, immediate future? Yes, please, Councilwoman Seaman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The issues with the Animal Foundation first came to my attention in early November, and we are now in February, and not only do things not seem to be improving, but I can't get answers to some of my questions. Now I'm told that a meeting with the leadership or board members can't happen for another 2 months. With the city being one of the largest stakeholders of the foundation, I find this unacceptable. I would like the new CEO and members of the board to come before this council and answer questions and concerns. Are animals being adopted without being spayed or neutered? If an animal is adopted out without being spayed or neutered, but given a voucher to have it done later, are they following up? My understanding is we are giving them an extra $500,000 to not euthanize animals unless necessary. And you can correct me if I'm wrong at the end. But so why are 13% being euthanized? I received a call 2 weeks ago from a woman who emailed and called several times to get her dogs. By the time someone reached out to her, they found her dog in line to be euthanized. I was contacted by her because she didn't have transportation. I picked her up and went to the foundation with her to get the dogs and waited 2 hours and 15 minutes because of lack of help and a system that clearly needs to be examined. The dog that was in line to be euthanized was not aggressive, and the owner was lucky to reach out to me, but many others don't. We have heard from staff members that they are not sedating before euthanizing. Has the facility hired the veterinarians that are required on staff? What is being done about lack of response to emails and phone calls? Why is there not a system in place to scan a chip or try to get these dogs back to their owners? I have personally spoken to former employees that have horrific stories and quit because it is an intolerable work environment without enough staff at the level of customer service. There is a need to move the dogs in and out due to the space. This isn't the case. Why do they have a big turnover of employees at the customer care level, including veterinarians? The biggest question I have is why haven't they asked us or any other municipality, their biggest stakeholders, for help? We are their partners, but we can't seem to get answers, or for that matter, a meeting for a couple of months. These are just a few of the questions I have. We have a great responsibility to these animals, and I take that responsibility seriously. I would also like an update from the city manager on when we can hire an outside firm to do this audit. I believe this is an emerging issue. We want to help the foundation to be successful, but cannot unless we get cooperation from the board. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Those questions are for you, City.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Cervantes, can you please address?
Certainly, Mayor. Jorge Cervantes for the record. We can certainly reach out and invite him for a presentation. We can sponsor the council item. I'll do that this afternoon, reach out to him, see if they're able to come and do that. We'll make that presentation. We have gotten some data that we've gathered as far as some of their operations. Mr. Hacker has that information, is going through it so he can prepare for that. Be glad to give an update at the upcoming meeting saying here's what's going on there, and particularly if they're willing to accept the invitation to present, we can give some of the facts that we found and then have them explain some of the situations that are occurring there.
I'm sorry, what about the third-party audit?
Yeah, third-party audit. So we do have a list of folks that do those type of studies. As I mentioned, I talked to my counterparts in their jurisdictions before. They have that list too. We're waiting for this meeting to go ahead and advise them that we're going to do this, get some information back. We did have the meeting originally scheduled for late January. It had to be rescheduled because of conflicts in calendars, and so we've got that rescheduled, but as you mentioned, it's not until March.
And that seems to be a long time from now with the situations that are happening in the turnover. Is there can we notify them that we're reaching out and having a third party come in and find out how this place can be more organized in their operation?
Mayor, City Attorney Brian Scott, we've heard the councilwoman's concerns and her requests, and so what this part of the agenda is for really is to kind of bring back an item to council. So we'll address those issues and we'll get back with you at a briefing.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Great, thank you. It's just a passion, I can hear it. Any other issue that we'd like to add? I think we're good on that then, so we'll move on to agenda item 47, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by city council unless the subject is on the agenda for action. Are there any members of the council who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? So let's go ahead and we'll start down with Councilwoman Seaman. I think last time I started with Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had a great time at the police department's cadet graduation last week, and it was so nice to be a part of that special day for these 36 remarkable young men and women, and also to see how proud their families were. But Metro is looking for new recruits, so if you or anyone you know is considering a career in law enforcement, please visit lvmpd.com for details. So now, talking about Buffalo. This was, I think this is the wrong slide. I think we already did this one. I think we're going straight to the Animal Foundation. Yes, so speaking of the animal foundations, I am hoping we can get people out to adopt these beautiful animals. We have Charlie, a male neuter, 6 years old, about 90 pounds. We have Cassie, a female spayed, 6-year-old, 77 pounds. Alice, we have a female spayed, about 6 pounds, beautiful rabbit. They have tons of rabbits up for adoption. Goopster, a male neutered, 4-pound rabbit that is absolutely adorable. Besides all these, they have turtles, they have pigs, they have anything you can imagine. So please, if you're looking for a pet, please contact the adoption department at 702-955-5901, or you can email them at adoptions@animalfoundation.com. So our small business Saturday, again, if you're in Ward 2, and we know we have a bunch of new businesses in Ward 2 due to the changes in the wards, so please reach out to us and be a part of our new Small Business Saturdays and be featured on all our social media channels. All you have to do is reach out to us and we'll come out and film you. 702-229-2420. This Saturday is our Breakfast Buzz and Ward 2 Biz, and we will be at Rachel's Kitchen in the Trails this Saturday from 9 to 10. Please RSVP Ward 2 at lasvegasnevada.gov. You can discuss issues with this and have breakfast on us. Again, if you or anyone have concerns about Ward 2, please call us or email us at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov. You can follow us on social media to find out about our events and things that we're doing in Ward 2 at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Victoria D. Seaman, or LinkedIn at Victoria Seaman. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And Councilman Creer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The African American Trailblazers Service Awards were held yesterday morning, and it was an honor to introduce the 2022 Westside Legacy Park inductees. And they are QB Bush, Reverend Donald Maurice Clark, Eugene Collins, Lewis Connors Sr., Cranford Crawford Jr., John Edmonds, Ida Gaines, Marzette Lewis, Dr. Beverly Mathis, William McCurdy Sr., Henry J. Moore, Harvey Munford, Claude and Stella Parson, Dr. Anthony and Diane Pollard, Eva Simmons, Dr. Lonnie Sisson, Otis Tyrone Thompson, Roosevelt Toston, David and Marcia Washington, and Dr. Linda E. Young. Celebration will take place later this year to formally induct the 2022 members during the Juneteenth celebration. And also, I just want to thank the mayor for attending yesterday's ceremony to celebrate the many trailblazers and honorees of this annual event. Unfortunately, Commissioner McCurdy was not present due to his commission meeting. But this year's recipients of the African American Trailblazer Service Awards are Sean Torrey, who received the Tyrone Thompson Emerging Leader Award, Roxanne McCoy, the Community Activism and Politics Award, Dr. Linda Young, Educator Award, Kenya Renee Young, Business and Economic Advancement Award, and China Hudson, who received the Spiritual Community Award. It was a great event yesterday. The Metro Police Bolden Area Command is in partnerships with the Health Plan of Nevada and Las Vegas Mini Grand Prix will host a Cruisin' with a Cop on Sunday, February the 6th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. located at 1401 North Rainbow. The first 100 kids aged 5 to 15 will receive a free package that includes 1-hour mega ride wristband, small cheese pizza, drink, and 20 play tokens. Should be a lot of fun. It's also time for Bolden Little League baseball signups for ages 4 to 14. Deadline is February the 28th. For more information, visit boldenlittleleague.com. For a list of upcoming City of Las Vegas Black History events, send an email to my office at ward5@lasvegasnevada.gov. And also, I'll be participating in the Chinese New Year Parade this Saturday and would like to say Happy Lunar New Year to everybody out there. Don't forget, my office is constantly working to provide updates on city services, COVID-19 updates, and happenings in and around Ward 5. If you'd like to receive our newsletter, please contact my office at 702-229-5443, or you can always email Tanya Jackson-Renter at tjackson@lasvegasnevada.gov. You can always follow us on social media at Cedric Creer on Twitter, Instagram, Councilman Creer, Facebook, Councilman Cedric Creer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on to you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll get the slides up there. Okay, we'll continue on with, it was good to kick off the Chinese New Year this morning, and I want to just remind everybody about the events that are coming up this weekend. So if we can go to the next slide. There's tomorrow from 12 to 1, St. Mark's Square at the Venetian. There's a kind of another kickoff event going on, so if you'd like to attend, purchase tickets, that's where you purchase them. And then the next event is Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Taverna Costera here in downtown Las Vegas is another event you can attend from 6 to 8 p.m. Friday, February 4th at I can't see this. At 1031 South Main Street. Thank you. And then the next event is, as Councilman Creer mentioned, there's a parade downtown on Saturday on East Fremont Street from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So come on out. It's a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of folks in the parade. So come on out for that. And then I think there's one more on Sunday is the closing ceremony at the Rainbow Kitchen, 7537 South Rainbow Boulevard. That will be from 6 to 8 p.m. Sunday, February 6th. So lots of events this weekend. And then that's it for the slides. And then if you didn't know, today is National Girls and Women in Sports Day. So if you know a young girl or woman that's an athlete, give them a call and wish them a happy name day. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
And all the women and men that are participating in Beijing, right? The Olympics, right now.
Yes.
Yes? Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilwoman, right here. We'll just go that way. Great.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And next time I'm going to start with Councilman Knudsen because he always is stuck in the middle. So I'm going to work that way. You're on.
So happy Chinese New Year. What a beautiful presentation Jenny Lowe brought to us today. And may your new year be very healthy, very happy, and very prosperous to each and every one of you. We have our 10th anniversary of the Mob Museum on February 14th on Valentine's Day. This museum is near and dear to my heart. It started with our former mayor, Oscar Goodman. So understand that if it wasn't for Madam Mayor, your previous, your husband, we would not have this museum.
Thank you.
So because of Oscar Goodman, we can celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Mob Museum. Let's shred your documents that you don't want anyone to see. So we are, and I love it's so funny because shredding, people think, why is it such a big deal? It's a big deal because if your documents get into the wrong hands, there's so much manipulation. They could use your documents to go file for unemployment. They could use your documents to apply for a credit card. It's very important that you get your documents that you do not need and shred them. So, and we provide that for you Friday, February 25th. We're going to do that at Cheyenne West. So come and shred away on whatever you need to get shredded. We're going to talk about some of our missing kids, which is so important. Well, this beautiful Beyonce was found. So thank you so much. I love when I could say we found this beautiful 15-year-old. So Beyonce is back with her family and safe. Now we're looking for an 11-year-old. Look at this beautiful little girl. Anaja Gilbert is her name. She's 11. She's 5'6". She's 135 pounds. She's African American. And please, she was last seen on 1:30, just a couple of days ago, at approximately 1800 hours near the 6100 block of Boulder Highway in Nevada. She was wearing a pink shirt and blue jeans and pink Jordans. So please, guys, let's bring little Miss Gilbert home and let's find her. We are also looking for this 15-year-old boy. His name is Jake Amedia. He is Caucasian, blue eyes, brown hair. He was last seen he was wearing gray and a red beanie, tan windbreaker, and he was last seen on the block of Beam Drive. So please, if you know where this young man is, Jake, he's 15, he's 5'7", 120 pounds, please notify our Las Vegas Metro Police at 702-828-3111 or Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. So I want to talk about our success stories. People don't realize, they think homeless There's never an end, and there is. And this guy right here, we'll call him Ron K., 47 years old, arrived at the Recuperative Care Center, RCC, after being discharged from Sunrise Hospital for open leg wounds. And he had an AFib too, and was new onset heart failure and on continuous oxygen. Ron had been experiencing some tough life challenges prior to coming to the RCC, both medically and mentally. With constant monitoring by the medical team, changing of medications, increase of physical activity, and daily wound care, Ron was able to recover from his pressing medical issues. Ron is an extremely gifted artist and would draw a number of pictures to post in his cubicle for all to see. He commented that he was feeling great and actually had interest in drawing again. Upon completion of his medical care, he was discharged to Americana Assisted Living, where he continued to thrive. He obtained a job and reconnected with his family again. Ron recently contacted our staff asking for assistance with his medication and informed them that he was promoted to a higher position within his current company as a regional director. He also got a company car, an expense account, a cell phone, and a large region in Indianapolis, Indiana to manage. He thanked the team for giving him a second chance at life, continuing to be there for him and others that have been through our facility and states. I will be forever grateful to each and every one of you. So just know, we are here. Sometimes people just need a hand up, and we're here to do that. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
That's excellent. Councilman Knutson.
Thank you very much, Mayor. First, to Councilman Anthony's point, Maria Jose, who works in my office, she is on the Silver Stars women's tackle football team. She's a football player, so a shout out to Maria, who is a football player.
Go, Maria.
If you see her,
Tackle.
That's how we do it in my office. Tackle.
Don't mess with her.
So if you have a chance
Wow.
to celebrate women's athletes, Maria is a tackle football player.
Tackle football
That's
girl.
right.
I love it.
Thank you for letting me share some events in Ward 1. This Saturday, I look forward to joining neighborhood leaders and some youth volunteers at the Bonanza Trail. It'll be February 5th, starting right at 9 o'clock a.m. And thank you to our nonprofit partners, Get Outdoors Nevada, for helping sponsor the event. Anyone interested in joining can email us at ward1@lasvegasnevada.gov. February Brews with Brian. Last month, I had a great time meeting with neighborhood leaders to talk about improvements to areas of Ward 1. This month, please join me and my team for our February Brews with Brian event on February 19th, starting at 9 o'clock a.m. We'll be at Pinspiration, where community meets creativity, a new small business that is woman-owned and operated in Ward 1. And I'm looking forward to meeting with residents as we enjoy coffee and the kids make some great do-it-yourself arts and crafts. And Friendship Walk, another exciting opportunity I want to share to residents in our upcoming Friendship Walk, hosted by the Friendship Circle, which is a local nonprofit organization in Ward 1. I look forward to partnering up with Clark County Commissioner Michael Naft as we create a team for the Walk for Friendship. This will be the 4th annual walk, and I look forward to joining neighborhood leaders and residents to come together to support individuals living with special needs. And you can sign up to join myself and Commissioner Naft at ward1@lasvegas.gov. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Michael Naft, Commissioner Michael Naft's doing a great job, very involved, and sitting on the LVCVA board as well. Just very involved in the community. Good position he's taken on. So wonderful that you're walking together out there in that park.
And just so you know, that Friendship Circle was started by Rabbi Harleg, one of the sons at the Chabad of Southern Nevada. So it's supporting that great Ward 1 nonprofit.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And Councilwoman Diaz, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank Mr. Alpert for this Early Pioneers book. I was kind of perusing through it, and I recognized some names. For example, Roy Martin is in here, and I went to that middle school, and so I was never educated as I went to that school about why the namesake, and it'll be really cool now to connect the person and contributions to our region and why he has his middle school named. And there's also others like Walter Bracken, et cetera. So I'm looking really forward to learning more about our history, because it's never too late to start learning. I also want to take the opportunity right now and wish my goddaughter and niece, Tatiana, a very happy birthday. She was born 20-some years ago on this very day, and I'm super excited. She's an amazing young lady going to UNLV, and I wish her nothing but the best today. Give you your hug and kiss later. Also wanted to congratulate all of the Ward 3 YNAP awardees. I mean, just to see how invested they are in helping us make community better for everyone. We can't do this work alone, so I'm so I guess, thankful for everyone in our community across the ward stepping up to join us in the amazing work that everyone needs in their neighborhoods. With that, I'm going to start with Black History Month. This month, we do honor all of those that came before us, and we have a few events happening in the city. The first one is a focus on portraits, an African American heritage exhibition that's going on right here in Las Vegas City Hall. We're located at 495 South Main Street. It's on the second floor. Monday through Thursday, you can come and take a look at this exhibition, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and it will be there through April 14th. Also, there's a Heart of Black History contest, and entries are due by 5 p.m. Friday, February 18th at East Las Vegas Community Center. So grab your pen, your computer, your paintbrush, or any other media that you create art with, and submit your entry into the 2022 Black History Month Essay Media Contest. Of course, we know it's the Lunar New Year. The Year of the Tiger opening reception will be happening at the historic 5th Street School, 401 South 4th Street, tomorrow, February 3rd, 5 to 7. The exhibit will be on view through Thursday, May 5th. This is the 12th year of this annual invitational exhibit, which unites artists interested in exploring what the Lunar New Year of the Tiger means through their art. So eat more art and come on down to our historic 5th Street School. I want to welcome Captain Hector Cintron to the Downtown Area Command. We had the pleasure of sitting down and talking about some issues that we are both facing in our positions in the downtown area, and so super excited about him being onboarded at Downtown Area Command. I know he's invested in making sure life is the best quality for all of our residents and safe. So feel free to reach out to them anytime, dtac@lvmpd.com. They're in the Downtown Area Command, located on 621 North 9th Street, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And their phone number is 702-828-4348 if you have any questions in regards to the public safety and the Metro officers team. Wanted to also inform our residents about our rebate program. So this is for our residents 60 years of age and older. It's a utility tax sewer rebate program. And so the City of Las Vegas invites its residents that are 60 years of age and older with an annual income of less than $16,500 if single, or $18,900 if married, head of household. You can qualify to save on your electric, gas, home phone, and sewer utility taxes. So please make your appointment today by calling one of the 5 centers listed on the flyer. And the flyer is really small, so I'm going to name the centers: Centennial Hills Active Adult Center, Doolittle Senior Center, Dula Community Center, East Las Vegas Community Center, and Howard Lieburn Senior Center. They are taking appointments at all those sites. Last but not least, again, free pop-up vaccination play dates at Discovery Children's Museum for our little ones. It's available for little ones and big ones, so it's fun for everyone around 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. No appointments necessary. Mark your calendar for Monday, February 7th, Monday, February 21st, Thursday, March 10th, and you receive 2 free passes to the Discovery Children's Museum. So that is quite a way to entice your child to get vaccinated. As always, that concludes all of my slides for today. We're here to serve you and your needs. Please contact our office if you are in need of talking to us about any issues in your neighborhood. 702-229-2359 is our direct line to request a meeting or talk to us about what you see going on, or email us at ward3@lasvegasnevada.gov.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Want to thank our PIO office, our tech, certainly our leadership and staff, and our council, our attorney's office. It is a team, in our clerk's office. We're a team. We get things done, and we're innovative, and we look forward to what we can do, being kind, committed, and caring. And just know our offices are open for you, and we're beginning to see a revival of issues coming through the federal government that we're on a mend. But be ready. It's not always going to be clear sailing. There will always be some derivative something. But stay well, stay healthy, don't speed. Please watch what you're doing. And for those of us, don't assume because the light is green, you move out without looking on both oncoming sides. But a tragedy happened in North Las Vegas. I can't imagine anything more horrifying for all the families and loved ones of those people. Just absolute insanity. But protect yourself, and if you have children that drive, make sure they learn to wait, be patient, and look in all directions. So thank you all. We stand adjourned till the 16th of February.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too.